Vorpal Tales Cyberpunk Red campaign in the image of humanity born. I am Eric at Marone Recluse on Twitter, your game master for this awesome adventure. We are Vorpal Tales, and we play a wide assortment of games that fall into two categories: Awesome Adventures and Terrifying Tales. Awesome Adventures air typically on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Terrifying Tales are on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. So be sure to check our calendar on the website, vorpaltales.com, to stay up to date on all our shows. Don't forget to pick up your copy of Cyberpunk Red, available now in PDF exclusively on DriveThruRPG and in physical copy at talsorianstore.com and your local gaming store. While you're on our DriveThruRPG, check out some of our very own Vorpal Tales supplements for sale, which include characters, monsters, and scenarios made for some of the games we play weekly. Remember to follow our Talsorian Games on Twitter and Vorpal Tales on Twitch. Visit our website and find the link to join our Discord. We are on most social media outlets now, including YouTube, where you can catch up on previous episodes. So remember to follow, subscribe, and hit the bell to get all the updates. Also, be sure to check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/VorpalTales. We greatly appreciate our patrons as they helped us to continue this venture into the future. We want to thank our Talsorian Games for providing support for this highly anticipated game, and Tyler's brother, at the letter N, the number 8, MIDD, for the super awesome character sheets he makes for our games. A special thanks goes out to Karl Casey at White Bat Audio for the awesome beats you're hearing right now, so check out his playlist on YouTube. Lastly, we want to thank Astral Virtual Tabletop for providing a great platform, perfect for hosting most of our games, and providing excellent music for us to play. Edge Runners, tell the good people who you are, where they can find you online, and who you will be playing this evening. Beginning with Sean.
Hey, I'm Sean at Space Lord PJs. I am playing Nomad, the Nomad, with an awesome purple car.
With an awesome purple Firebird, that's right. And Michelle?
Oh wait, I'm second. This is weird. Okay. Hi, I'm Michelle Sealight. The C does not stand for Candy, who I am playing tonight. She is the lollipop princess medtech with a bit of a sad mood.
Oh. Dixie?
Yeah, I'm playing Cyanide. He's like a cool mid-20s rocker boy who has since gotten involved in other parts of edge running.
Ever?
Hey everybody, I'm Ever. My pronouns are they, them, and you can find me all over the internet as Changeling Ever. I will be playing Vector, whose pronouns are they, them, and got a couple upgrades since the last game, which are going to be pretty awesome.
Right, and Steve.
Hello everybody, I am Steve. I am playing Terra, our team's tech, and I also too have some upgrades that I'm excited to show off.
Damn.
Nice. And last but not least, Tyler.
Hey, I'm Elder Checo's Online, and I am playing Rift, the Netrunner Sniper.
All right. Just going to run a quick recap of what occurred previously to catch everybody up at home as to what's going on. Then we're going to go into Reputation, which we have not dipped into just thus far, but will become prominent later on. So beginning with this, let's see. As the culmination of our Neo Spirit story came to a close and our new campaign began, we saw our Edge Runners with their backs against the wall facing total obliteration. Going back a full 24 hours, we caught up with Cyanide's side gig, which turned into a revelatory side adventure where she encountered an older version of herself named Jazz. The veteran fixer explained how she and others like them share similar kinds of exploitation and oppression by the corpos and other even less unsavory organizations. Jazz was aided by the cyberform-inhabited AI named Jehovah, which Cyanide's team had recently helped to escape the old net. After getting some gear and intel from her friends, Cyanide accompanied Jehovah to an industrial living space, or ILS, named Horizon, to prevent our runners from getting killed at the hands of a terrorist group known as the Heideggers. No one fell asleep during all of that, which is good. Our runners faced off with numerous gunmen on the streets of the old ILS, as well as a military-grade attack gunship helicopter. Though our team narrowly avoided getting turned into chunky salsa, Mithras and his followers were not so lucky. Candy, in the line of fire, was narrowly saved by the efforts of one Cyrus Jones, former policeman turned rent-a-cop. Mr. Jones was not so lucky, however, and was obliterated before the medtech. After mopping up the remnants of the Heidegger terrorists, Turing and Netwatch swooped in and cordoned off the area as a crime scene. To everyone's surprise, Inspector Schottky did not order the arrest of the runners or even consider bringing them in for questioning. Candy had an emotional breakdown, holding on to the last remains of Cyrus Jones's remaining cybernetic arm. The team recovered the core containing Jehovah from the burning wreckage of the Helo, and Cyanide received a message from an anonymous user asking them if AI rights were equivalent to human rights. When she answered, the mysterious user confirmed her answer as correct and proceeded with, "Now then, are we ready to begin?" Before we get into anything, I want to make sure that everybody is aware of the reputation attribute or status on their character sheet. It's probably at 0. Everyone's reputations, with the exception of Cyanide's, should be 2. Cyanide has a reputation of 3. So make sure to keep track of that, as that's going to increase as your exploits continue to be known in and around Night City and beyond. Let's see. So now that we've finished Neosmiths officially, we're going to move into the first session of our campaign. This should be a good time to reintroduce the cast of characters so our viewers at home are familiarized with the cast. Most importantly, we can establish some solid role-playing connection between the characters, which are sure to pay off later. So let's see. Who's my first victim? We'll go with Steve. Let's see. Describe your character, at least in terms of like looks, personality, notable cyberware.
Looks wise, he's pretty average build. For the most part, if you took away everything else, he's a pretty standard looking guy. Average height, average build, average, a little bit of a long hair, just like I've got, here up in a small ponytail. But he has, the most obvious piece of cyberware that makes him stand out is his robotic arm, which he has the tool hand built into it. So his hand very obviously is used as a toolkit because he is a tech. So he is a little bit more he's someone who's obviously comes from wealth and money, who has gone back and now wears what in the game is referred to as bag lady chic level clothing. So that is the style of clothing that he wears mechanically in the game, but he carries himself, he talks, and he acts like he comes from a higher echelon of society at this point in time. So most of his days he's spending them kind of going through scrapyards, so he's got dirt under his nails, cuts, bruises from sheet metal hitting him, stuff like that.
Scavenger. Cool. All right. Next question. Where are they from? What sort of brung them, or what keeps them in Night City?
So, what keeps him in Night City is it's the best place to, basically do what it is that he does. He's a tinker by hobby. So his, he comes from a wealthy corporate family. His parents, grandparents, all the way were big into a corp. But he never got into that life. He lived pretty kind of off of their money. And that allowed him the freedom to go and kind of like dive into his hobby of tinkering and doing tech stuff, and just, hey, I got this workshop and I get all of these, resources that I don't really have to fight for or scavenge for in his younger days the way other people do, and it gave him an advantage and a leg up on that. But his family's no longer around, and it turns out they are actually massively in debt. And everything that he thought that they had, they don't. So he actually inherited the majority of his family's debts that he owes a lot of people. So he stays in Night City to basically build what he can for himself. He's living on the low, trying to make sure people can't find him, and basically just trying to self-sustain at this point using his tech abilities.
Interesting. All right. I think I understand what the next question is automatically. Like, what's their deal, motivation, goal? But I think you already answered that
Survival.
question really well. Yeah, surviving.
Of-
Last question: what other party member do you believe Tara would share a connection with, and what kind of connection is it? Could be positive or negative. Doesn't matter.
I think his longest connection is definitely going to be with Rift. Seems like, you know, between a tech and a why am I blanking on
Netrunner.
Netrunner?
Netrunner,
Thank
yeah.
you. Yeah, tech and a Netrunner go hand in hand. Maybe I've done some mods on his deck.
Sure. System.
But he can also get me programs and software to go into the stuff that I'm tinkering. So we kind of go hand in hand. So I assume even maybe before this group all came together, we probably go back if Rift's okay with that.
Oh, all right. Sounds pretty cool. All right.
This wasn't an actual question. It's not that I don't like cyanide. I really like cyanide as a person. I'm cautious of cyanide though because of how famous they are and the profile that they bring, especially with me trying to kind of keep low and not have my myself out there.
You should be excited about that because people will be looking at me, and then you can just slip on behind.
There's always that one guy who looks in the background of the vids, and it's like, wait a second. So that would be a slight concern in the back of his head, but by no means like that's not going to be like we can't keep cyanide around type thing. That's just an aspect of the character.
No, it's okay. I hear you. You want to get rid of me? I got it.
She's a liability. She's got to go. Cool. All right. Michelle.
Question one.
Question
Candy
one.
is the pink pop medtech princess. She's optimistic, to a fault at some point. But she also has it as a facade to hide loss. She's often seen with her synthetic lollipops adorning her outfits, her hair. They're part of her med kit. She's often seen with the two-toned brown to pink hair. The most notable cybernetic piece is the lack, therefore, of cybernetics. She is complete flesh and bone, and everything she uses to enhance herself is done externally. So she has glasses she wears in case she needs to zoom in and do microsurgery. She is the first thing people will notice about her is just the way that she carries herself, with the sense of just like, it's like she's always on a cloud, and she doesn't want to go down from that cloud.
Understandable. I promise you this knowledge of these notes about having cyberware or not are going to be very important later, I promise.
I actually wrote down the list of questions. So Candy is actually has a totally different name, Candace Trinathy. Her parents were corpos trying to make it their way up the social status of corporate life. They took out some loans to send their perfect daughter off to med school, and their daughter flunked out. And they were unable to pay back their debts. And when Candace went to go check on her family after being evicted from her school housing because she thought she got a scholarship, her parents were gone. The house was locked up. Everything was gone. And Candace was alone. She was alone and homeless. Had no idea what to do on the streets, but even then, she tried her best to help everyone. And so, one day, she was dumpster diving at the local Marge's Donuts and ended up meeting a ragtag group of netrunners who had someone with them who was injured, and she's like, hang on one second, I need napkins, that hair ribbon, and 2 popsicle sticks. No, 3. And she was the type to come up with solutions on the fly to help people.
Nice.
And, so she grew up in Night City, but she grew up in the posh, a higher scale, the elevation of never noticing people below her and being driven to homelessness sort of opened her eyes to what's really going on in Night City.
That's what essentially keeps her there. That's what she wants to do ultimately, is try to get out of that shadow of the debt that her family acquired through their time with the corporation. As far as the connection with other characters in the team or part of the party, who would you say she has a connection to? What kind of connection is it?
She sort of met everyone besides Cyanide at the same time. She sees them all as sort of like, they took her in as like their adopted sister. And so she sees all of them as this tight-knit family, and she doesn't really understand the social dynamics of being a netrunner. She sees them all as this family. Sort of like the family she lost. But the person I believe she connects most with, she does see Nomad as like the older brother who's always picking on her. She sees Tara as the older brother who's always always busy and has no time for her. She sees Rift as the mysterious one, and she sees Vector as the sibling who is all like, she sees them all as like their own type of sibling, and the one I think she'd have the deepest connection with would have to be Tara, because of their love of ingenuity, and she wants to create better medicine for the world. She's also not so secretly a Cyanide fangirl. She owns a few of the hard tracks from her concerts.
Nice. Great stuff. Okay. Okay, I see the connection there with Tara. That's cool. All right, very good.
I think it's kind of ironic that they both have families who went into debts and they don't know about that about each other.
Yeah, we didn't know about that, and I did want to say, but not interrupt. I like that we have that shared aspect, but it's so radically different in how it both came about and affected our characters. That's cool.
Interesting parallels, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Moving on to the next person on the screen I have here, Rift.
Hi.
What can you tell us about what Rift looks like, personality, notable cyberware, etc.?
It depends how much XP's in it for me.
All of the XP.
Rift is about 5'10". The only obvious cyberware is his arm, but if you get close enough, you can tell his eyes aren't normal. He's had the skin work done so they look normal at a distance, and he always has shades on. The left arm, the non-primary arm, has built-in high-quality cyberdeck, highest quality you can, and it's noticeable because it's also hardened against heat and EMPs, so it's probably really thick and like a matte black or something. Sure. Okay. He's lithe, but he always wears clothes that are too big for him, so you can't really tell what he actually looks like. So you're surprised when he snipes you from 2 miles away on top of another building.
Nice. Are they
both of the
from Night City, or are they?
Both of the eyes are also fake, and he doesn't wear virtual goggles when he jacks in because he overlays it onto his eyes. He can also overlay the internet onto his eyes and still see the normal world.
Okay.
He is a drug addict, in that you would assume he's an addict because he's always doing drugs, but he has artificially enhanced himself to the point that he can resist the addiction part and always only enjoy the fun part. At least that's what he'll tell you. He won't mention the 2 times we've been in rehab. No, I was not born in Night City. I was born far from Night City, and how much of this you want me to say depends on how much you're going to surprise the group with.
Oh, we're going to get right into the irrationals like at the very beginning here. So, yeah.
I was raised by a revolutionary group, a la Altered Carbon, that grew up in the wilderness in a war zone, specifically to overthrow the man and bring down the current system through any means necessary. Anarchy, violence, doesn't matter. All ends justify all, or the end justifies all means. So his family are very radical, and the person that was his mentor is very radical. The big secret about him is he has more cyberware than the average because some of it was given to him by the organization. He didn't have to pay for it. The trick there is everything he sees and does is uploaded to them, recorded live, real time, and sent to them. So they always know everything we're doing. And that's what was about to bite us in the ass.
Well, that's gonna be fun.
Yes!
Yeah. Lots.
Don't like that.
Don't like that one bit.
That's why we had this
You'll
sudden
get it
influx of cash before the session started.
I made my money.
The old-fashioned way with rock and roll.
I had a gig. I got paid for 2 gigs recently.
Yeah, it's pretty cool how everyone around me suddenly gets jobs and gigs, right? No one ever questions who's paying you.
I was getting gigs before you. I had albums
You guys
out.
are getting
Candy came to my
paid?
shows.
You guys are getting paid?
You've literally paid for my albums, so yes.
My parents paid for them.
Still money. Money's money.
Really obvious, I think, what Rift has as far as like a deal or motivation. But what character, which member of the group would they be would they have a connection with, if any? And is it positive or negative?
So, the quick and dirty backstory we came up with was it's been Rift and Terra since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
We go through a lot of solos. Nomads, we hire them as necessary. This nomad has stuck around because we like this nomad. We go through enough solos that we determine time and group by solo. So this nomad's been with us for 3 solos.
3.
The newest solo, Vector, I mean, normally we're like, yeah, it's just another solo, don't forget the name. But this one keeps augmenting themselves until they're basically a Terminator, so we're pretty sure this one's going to last. Or go crazy and we'll have to put it down again like the 6th nomad ago, or the 6th solo ago.
Nice. Staying power of 3 solos. Excellent. All right.
You have like a Henry VIII thing going on with your solos.
Only the one went crazy on us. All the other ones died in missions.
One of the one Cyber Psycho. Fantastic.
Only the one.
All right. Fair enough. All right. And Cyanide.
Yes. I actually
Looks,
wrote all my answers
personality?
down. Yeah, no, I got this. I'm
All
on
right.
it. I have to read off a Word document though that I realized I don't have my glasses on, so I had to bump it up to like 150 so I can actually read it.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so I'm playing Cyanide, who is a very cool kind of mid-20s rocker boy. Rocker boys are any gender in Cyberpunk Red. I was gonna say 2020, and I was like, wait, that's not what we're playing. She's got tech hair and comb skin, so she can shift in and out of different social situations, different subcultures. She has a cyber audio suite, which you can't see, and a brand new cyber eye, which you can. It doesn't look completely like metal so much, but it's more of like, it looks like a regular eye, but where there would be an iris and a pupil, it's just flat black, and you can see a little bit of light in there. So from a distance, it's not super obvious that she has a cyber eye, but up close, you're like, oh, okay, that's definitely not real.
Yeah.
Because, so she, let's see. She's originally from Berlin, but came to Night City decades ago when her family moved here, so she doesn't have an accent or anything. But that's as far as she remembers. She stayed once her rock career started because she liked the clubs and the vibes here, and now she's found something new to do. In my brain, she's always been kind of leftist, but the kind of leftist where like Rift's family would think that she was really center. But like she thinks she's super subculture and cool, you know,
Yeah.
because her family were like mid-tier corpos, and she rebelled against that and hasn't seen them in a long time and whatever. Where's our Word document? Yeah, so she stayed once her career started taking off. She occasionally has toured, but like local tours, nothing major.
Mhm.
So her motivation and goal is that she's kind of discovered in the past little bit here that edge running might be more interesting than attending cool parties and playing gigs. Because she got wrapped up with this group and she has been enjoying her time with them. Honestly, it's been an exciting couple weeks. She has enhanced some of her cyber audio and cyber eye suite so that she can record what's happening, keep documentation of everything that's going on, all that kind of stuff. She can upload it to her personal, server. And then her, what's it called? What's the thing that you have that's like a cell phone called?
Agent.
Her agent is now internal. And she has Cypher.
Cool. Okay.
So she can project her agent stuff on her eye, kind of like Rift can. Not nearly as
Yeah.
immersive, because she's only got the one, so it's more like I can see menus, more like a Google Glass kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was definitely there. She also might be a clone with implanted memories, so we're still figuring that part out. So all the stuff that I just said could be fake. We don't know yet. That'll be fun to figure out. And as far as who she connects with, I put two people. I put Vector and Rift. Vector because I appreciate a no-nonsense person who can get their shit done without asking too many questions. Like Vector was like key in the apartment raid and some other stuff. And I'm just like, cool, they've got their shit together. I like this as a no-nonsense badass person. And then also Rift. And the reason I picked Rift was because he seemed to trust me really quickly when we were on that first mission together. And he was like uploading stuff to me and kind of like throwing me information, helping me out. And like, he didn't know who the hell I was.
Yeah.
And so she kind of like, she respects people who don't underestimate her, because a lot of netrunners would look at a rocker and be like, oh my God,
Whatever,
you're so useless, whatever. And Rift was like, wait a minute, there was something that they could see that like, you know, made me feel like I was part of the group.
It's like Highlander. You can tell, you know, when you're within close proximity, you're like, yeah, you're on the same wavelength as me. Awesome.
Yeah. And also I brought tacos to everybody, so I think everybody should like me the best. But...
Exactly.
100%. Yeah.
Tacos go a long
win
way.
every time. Vector.
Okay. Hi.
Looks wise, I think we know. I'm imagining Vector as being like very goth with military combat boots. So like black with the faux hawk or a mohawk and like yeah, that's what I'm kind of imagining.
Yeah, I didn't even say how I actually look, but just picture like younger Potter me with like cutting edge punk clothes.
Yeah.
Like cutting edge, very high fashion punk clothes, like you know, Lady Gaga level streetwear.
So just you, but with Lady Gaga's wardrobe.
No, because I don't want to be 35 in this game. I want to be like 26.
20s, yeah, 20s. Does Vector have? We know that personality-wise, Vector is no nonsense, like Dixie mentioned, and we are aware of the looks. But is there any notable cyberware on them?
Well, so might as well just tell you what I did in my downtime.
Yeah.
Reinforced muscle and bone with an upgrade that brings my body to 12.
Mm-hmm.
Had both legs replaced with cyber legs to increase my speed by 2 when I run. And very soon, I will be able to upgrade my solo to level 5. I don't have enough XP yet, but I have a feeling it'll get there pretty quick. But I repaired my armor, and I've got a helmet now because noggins are important.
Yes.
But yeah, basically, yeah, as Tyler said, my character's kind of like Terminator now, basically. And there are there's a downside to that.
There is.
My humanity is equal to 2.
3.
However,
3, sorry.
no, it's in the 2s, Eric.
Oh.
However,
Okay.
Oh,
however, we should mention the cybernetic upgrades required Ever to roll 8d6 loss of humanity and still kept it under 20. It's a great roll.
That's impressive. Yeah, I got lucky on that one.
Good thing it wasn't a fireball. That sucked.
Oh boy. But yeah,
Okay.
my character is very no feely, no niceties. I would.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
nonsense, no BS. Are they from Night City originally, and what's keeping them there?
I didn't think of a specific place. However, I did think of a specific place, but like maybe if Night City has this area, a kind of like Little Japan, Little Tokyo kind of area.
Phantom.
And basically their parents ran a dojo, and where senseis at this dojo had, you know, a lot of students and everything. But they were gunned down in a random shooting that Vector knows of, actually. So DM, feel free to play with this. It could have been a hit, it could have been random. But Vector managed to survive. The people who accidentally or on purpose were not looking for a child. So, Vector managed to survive it. And kind of wasn't the same after that. And had enough training to seek out more training, where they were at that age where they're like, okay, I want to continue this so I know I can be safe. Which is why they are very much melee fighting and have the katana. The katana is modeled after a katana that was passed down from the family way back to when the family lived in Japan. So it's not the original because Cyberpunk is very far in the future, but they have the what was the word you used that one time? Carbon something.
Mono? Yeah, carbon
yes.
mono. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. So yeah, it looks old, but it's actually very modern-esque and
cool.
techie. So
that is the other reason I like Vector is because we are katana siblings.
Yeah,
although
mine
is like a straight tech katana. Like mine looks like the dark saber or something.
Nice.
Because if I could have
edge.
any sword, it would be the dark saber.
Of course.
yeah, it's so pretty.
Also, Vector, don't forget to mention your sword pops out of your arm into your hand now.
Yes. So as someone who, before the plague did Iaido, I learned from my teachers that the sword fighters would actually use the sheath to do some of the moves to block and save themselves and save their katana, because katanas are actually kind of fragile if they're hit in a certain place. So Vector has a hollow arm where their sheath pops out and they can use the sheath as well as the katana. So
neat. All right. What kind of motivation do they have? Like, what's their deal exactly?
So it's everyone had these amazing motives, and Vector just wants money and to be able to live safely and comfortably in a neighborhood that they will not get shot at, which is really, really not very smart considering they're kind of a mercenary. So
hey, you gotta go through
but you
hell
want to be
before
able
you
to
get
go home
heaven,
at night.
right?
Like you want to be able to
that's
go
true.
home at night and sleep, not worry about getting murdered in your bed.
well, but yeah, neutral about people. I think the closest that Vector has ever gotten to displaying feelings has been a pat on Candy's head, and there.
Oh,
So, yeah, getting off the street and making money.
does her humanity remind Vector about their own? Would that be a safe assumption?
I don't think they've put that much thought into it, to be honest.
Maybe I'm just trying to think. Like that might be why.
Yeah, Candy's super high
comforting
humanity.
or-
Mm-hmm.
I think Vector feels awkward around Candy, just for the fact of what are these feelings I don't
Understand.
get it.
Yeah.
But I will do my best to get you back to functioning capacity.
Okay.
And Vector does have a childhood friend named Jax
Jax.
from that neighborhood. Yes. So
Oh. Okay.
don't
All
know if they will ever run into them. They haven't seen Jax in a very, 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 very long time, since before the tragic event.
Did they attend the dojo with you, with Vector?
I did not plan that, but they totally could have. And I haven't
Okay.
decided on their gender, so feel free to use that as you will.
All right. All right. Last but not least, Nomad.
So yeah, Nomad. Nomad has a real name, but he simply just goes by the moniker of Nomad because everybody's just like, "Hey, Nomad." So
Hey,
he was
you.
just like, yeah, it's basically "Hey, you." So he's just like, okay, I'm just gonna go by Nomad and not bother with any real name. It's just easier that way.
You're not gonna go by Damon, are you?
No, I don't plan to. Why?
Okay. Because it's
Okay.
Nomad backwards. Go ahead.
That it just kind of settles him just fine because he doesn't really want personal attachments.
Sure.
He has his family for that role. But he's cool if he meets some people and finds that, you know, they're reliant and can get jobs done. So he's cool with that, and he'll stick with that. He's average build, dark hair, always wears a hat. There's really no frills about him. He probably sticks out because he does look so kind of like boringly average. He's not big into cyberware just because he's simply he doesn't have an active aversion to that. There's just no time for that hassle that it brings. He does have his eyes augmented so that he can see through certain like smoke screens and ultraviolet and things like that. So
this is like, are these like zero humanity loss enhancements?
Yeah, they're
Cool.
they're just not high. All he really messed with was his eyes, just so that if he's driving in fog or something like that, he can see through it. So
And most of mine are too. They're just like recording devices and
Cosmetic.
stuff more than like
Yeah.
changing your body. Yeah.
yeah,
Cool. Are they originally from Night City? And if
no, he's not. He's very Clive Owen, the driver. I would think like the transporter.
Yeah.
He works for procurement for his family, who actually does sea transport. So he's pretty good with cars and boats. He cares very much about the condition of his cars because he is in procurement. So he always wants to keep them pristine, and he's always on the lookout for new resources and vehicles. He doesn't like to talk too much, but when he does, he means what he says. And he has this quirk where he sort of scopes out areas that he's in, looking for exits and looking for places basically to drive his car through.
Is this big enough for me to fit the driver? Okay, cool.
Yeah, he is from the outskirts. He's from the open roads. His family is basically like legal transports on the open seas, but Night City is where most of the money is to be made.
Sure.
So that's where he hangs out.
West
Plus-
Coast. Yeah.
Yeah, plus there's the challenge of navigating the crowded labyrinth that is Night City's roads.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. His motivation is the job and notoriety. He's basically there for the notoriety. The money is just sort of secondary. He's there to get the job done, but most of all, he's there to drive. And while he has been hanging out with Rift and Vector for a while, or Terra for a while, he would say that he probably has at least driven once for everyone, just because he's tried to like grab every possible like driver's job, like low level, just to sort of build up some basic notoriety and get some basic money. So yeah.
So no, not one particular person, but if you had to pick between, you said Rift and Terra, one of those two.
Probably Rift. Probably he knows Rift the best.
Yes.
Everyone loves Rift so much. We're about to get this bombshell from Rift.
Right, he's got to screw over everyone. It's
Hey man, I can't stop what my parents do.
that's the thing.
True. All right. Fair enough. All right. So let's. Well, I guess we'll begin. We'll do a little bit of a time advancement since the last thing that happened. Let's say we'll give it about 3 or 4 weeks. I think that's sufficient enough of time for everybody to have their augmentations using the money that they gathered from the mysterious money that came in from out of nowhere into their accounts. They can use that money to augment themselves, get themselves re-equipped, and so on. Which one of you would like to go first in terms of like what's happened to you since the last 4 weeks after the events at the Horizon ILS? No volunteers.
Rift raised his hand. Terra raised his hand. I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see
if
that, sorry.
you what we do with our downtime. So normally, Terra spends most of his downtime fabricating or designing new items and weapons and things like that. We did have a discussion, me and you, about the belt that I was trying to come up with
Yes.
that would give me like, or give someone who wears it like a magnetic field protection that would add to either like their dodge or boat armor or something like that. So we can discuss that with downtime if you want to.
Sure.
Before we get into that though, he also does take some of this newfound cash that they seem to be flushed with, and uses it to do some upgrades.
Okay.
So he already has his cyber arm, which he has his tool hand built into. So he designed for himself a new piece of personal protection. If we're getting involved with all the stuff that's happened, we have dropped out of corporate gigs, which was Tara's safe, zone, right? Like,
Yeah.
Tara liked working for corporations.
Because the check's always cleared.
The check's cleared. He could kind of like put it away. And that came with a level of protection if you were working for corporations against people trying to like crack down on you as long as you were able to do your job. So that with my debt out there floating around, if I had a steady gig at another corp, I could at least be protected from that. On my own now, getting a lot more kind of paranoid. So I went for a pop-up in my arm.
Ah, yes.
So, and this was clear with Eric, combination of paying for it and my own being a tech, I was able to kind of bend the rules a little bit with my fabrication, or it's not called fabrication, it's called...
Invention?
Invention.
You invented first and then fabricated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was able to basically put in a pop-up flamethrower into my cyber arm, which in this game, a flamethrower is not an actual flamethrower. It is a shotgun.
That was interesting to find out.
That was interesting to find out. It is a shotgun that shoots incendiary rounds. So
That's not nearly as cool as tiny axes.
it's not as cool as
No.
tiny axes. You
Never
are correct.
really as cool as that.
I peaked really early with my inventions in this game. However, basically hidden away in his arm is like kind of like through the arm into the shoulder is the entire firing mechanism of the flamethrower shotgun. It takes up 2 slots, but essentially he can kind of pop up part of his hand and has the barrel and can basically blast out incendiary shotgun rounds.
Nice.
So I guess I already had the arm, so I didn't have to have my entire arm replaced yet. The other thing that I did was while I was under, I went ahead and had a neural link
Good idea.
put
Okay.
in, just so I could
Cool.
actually get some other stuff for that. And then any downtime I had after the arm and neural link, I will put towards my mag field belt.
Okay. Cool. So you, I'm assuming does Terra have like a place to stay? Like as far as like their lifestyle, are they like squatting or are they like staying in a little hole in the wall apartment or something like that?
I actually never went over the housing with you. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
So he tends to not like, he puts together a lot of what he can quickly, makes it for himself or to sell very quickly. So it's either stuff he can carry on him at any one time or get rid of very quickly. So he doesn't really need like a full-blown workshop, especially with the tool hand. Like most of what he
Right.
needs is built into him already. He just needs a space. I assume now that I work with these guys, like we have either someone's apartment or maybe I can squat with someone. Like basically he gets by with what he can. Like he probably doesn't have too much of his own. Because if he owns it, they can take it, basically.
Right.
The people who he has the family debt to.
I'm totally cool with him having been like sleeping on Cyanide's couch for a little while since her apartment was raided, and she wouldn't mind having extra help there.
Yeah, if I can just couch surf between the party, like that's just
Yo,
kind of
she's a rocker. Like couch surfing is a way of life. Like she's had a different couch surfer on her couch every month for the past 3 years. Like as long as they buy their own like ramen, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, no, I'll feed
Buy your own
myself, and you get anything done around the apartment, like I'll fix it up. Like
We we established during the apartment raid that she does not clean. So if you want to,
Right.
fold some clothes, she won't be upset.
I can make a
Sure.
machine that folds your clothes for you.
Even
That sounds
better.
appealing.
There we go. So I make Cyanide a t-shirt folding machine.
Hot press. The only reason why that sort of thing is relevant is if you actually live on the street or if you live on a vehicle on the street, it actually will affect you mechanically.
Okay.
Like, oh, you're sleeping like this, or
Oh, gotcha.
yeah. So you take negatives to everything that you do
Everything.
until you're not fatigued any longer.
Makes sense. He
yeah.
probably has no place to call his own, so probably like most people in the red, actually. But with his friends, I think hopefully he could at least find a couch to sleep on.
Yeah, I mean, even if you don't, there's like a per month you could stay at a cube hotel for about 500 eddies. So you're 500 euros.
Okay.
You can, stay there for a month and you're good to go.
Okay.
It's not the best place to stay. It's basically like
It's yeah.
alive in a grave, like in the wall, but that's about
Yeah.
it. All right, fair enough.
Okay.
Where would we typically find Terra like 4 weeks after the event at the ILS?
For 4 weeks. If Cyanide has at this point asked him, "Hey man, you got to find another place," then probably floating over to wherever one of these other people are staying. But for his days, what he actually is doing with his time, scrapyards. Once he can get back to moving and his arm doesn't hurt anymore, or his neural link calms down, scrapyards, junkyards, alleys where people throw stuff out. If it has a circuit attached to it or some wiring, he wants it.
Okay.
So for any free time not on a job, that's what he's doing, finding parts.
Finding parts.
So
All right.
So you'll probably find him in a local scrapyard.
Yeah, one of the biggest scrapyards that you frequent are the ones that's close to like the combat zone, right at the center of Night City. It's one of those like overcast days. You're wearing your poncho, getting ready to go through the stacks and stuff like that. You're expecting blood rain to come down. That's like the chemical rain that comes down and looks like orange on you, and like you're wearing like a protective gear just to ensure that you don't catch something or get sick from it. And there's an explosion that goes off just over some of the heaps. You take a look, and there's like a smattering of gunfire. Nothing unusual in this part of town. This is the combat zone, so this sort of thing happens regularly. The only thing that's different or notable about this is that you also hear a series of vehicles like revving up and riding out, skidding out in the midst of this tremendous gun battle, and a series of explosions that go off just on the other heap where you're at. So you kind of stay low and you listen in and you peek. The cars have all fled. There's cars on fire, people dead. The place that is there is like a small little junkyard factory, and it's riddled with different pieces of industrial steel and cranes and just heaps of metal stuff. So like whoever owned this particular junkyard just got offed by somebody who's driving some very nice cars. Your curiosity draws you in, and as you look around, you see there's somebody like dead, like murder. Like a good majority of these people kill each other, and whoever didn't want to stick around for what was left took off. What's notable though is the black suitcase that the originator of this particular factory seems to be holding on to dear life, even though he's dead. He's now well expired.
They gunned him down but didn't take the briefcase he was clutching to.
Correct.
Huh. Okay. How many bodies are around right now? Did he have like bodyguards? Dozens.
Most of the bodies here are the ones that made the mistake of coming here and taking whatever this was, or attempting to take it rather. The other pieces lying around are scrap pieces of drones is the correct terminology. But the person who lived here operated drones and used them as like a defensive buffer for any intruders. So that's what you see lying around you besides this dead dude on the floor holding on to
and the cars have gotten out of here. I don't have to deal with
gone.
them.
The only cars that are remaining are on fire.
So Tara looks over. I look over. Damn. Walk over. I find a basket.
And
I just start dropping agents into the basket off the dead bodies, and any guns, Any guns, dump them into the basket. Weapon parts are always useful, and I scavenge the dead bodies like a
Cool.
good tech does. And as soon as I get to that briefcase, interesting. If there's a hacksaw or anything nearby, if it's chained to his hand, the hand's coming off. If I just have to pry it out of his cold dead hands, Tara does that too.
It's not handcuffed or anything like that to their arm, but you do notice some very interesting mechanisms involved here. There's a biometric lock on it, meaning you can't saw or shoot your way through this suitcase because it is solid polymetal. Like, it is, whatever it is, this thing is intact, and whatever is in it is very important.
Is it a print biometric or a retinal?
Oh no, it's not one of those. You basically have to put your hand on it, and then basically like around the handle, and there's like a little reader there, and if it reads correctly, the thing opens.
Okay. I try to use his hand to do it. Can I make a cybersecurity roll to see if it's because it can detect that he's dead?
You don't have to do that. It's not reliant on whether or not the person is dead, just that it's the right person.
So this is not the right person.
Correct.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
You take it with you, or you leave it behind?
Oh, he would never leave something like that behind, even though that's definitely going to bring people to his doorstep, which he doesn't want, because Tara's not smart.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
So yeah, he will. I will, though, just like with before, his paranoia will get the better of him a little bit. I can't open it, but is there any sort of? Can I do a quick scan on it? Anything around for signals coming off of this thing? Is it being tracked? Is it being traced?
If it is, it's all internal. You use what tools you had before, like to try to see if you could look through it, sort of like an X-ray, like a short range X-ray. You kind of lean it up against it and you like look at it, and it is very particularly built to basically protect against that. It's like lead line. It's not allowing the X-ray to get to look through and see what it is.
Okay.
You're looking through this and you're like, huh? And one of the agents is beeping, and you're like, fuck. And you're looking, and it's like, oh shit, that's mine. Fuck.
Oh, it's mine. I was like, I go to the basket and I dig through the dozen agents. No, okay.
You have a call coming in from Cyanide, and you're like, oh, must be a job. You hit accept.
Hello.
Stop right there. Who's next? No takers?
I'll go.
Okay, Nomad. Excellent. All right.
I feel like if I'm going to be calling people to get them together, I should be going last. That's why I'm like... It's like some kind of like cyanide cliffhanger.
You, I imagine with Nomad, like, it's just dawn. Like, the sun is just rising, and the Badlands Desert is completely black. And there's a lone car coming in from the distant horizon. It's your car. It's just you in your Firebird, and you're racing out into the desert. The family lost a shipment of supplies that was, in their words, taken by a bunch of bozos, and obscured in the Badlands portions outside of Night City. So they sent you. They as the Vorpal family typically does, it sends one person to retrieve these things, and they sent you to do that.
Okay.
It's a small encampment that they were able to identify. The idea here is that you're supposed to lead these bozos away, so that the rest of your crew can come in and secure the stolen goods. Lots of stuff there, lots of high-end tech stuff coming in from Japan. So they want you to, get it back as soon as possible.
Okay.
The voice over the inside of your car informs you that you're approaching the encampment now. What should that voice sound like, and what do you call it?
That's a really hard but easy question.
Okay.
It definitely sounds like the dude from Knight Rider.
Hello, Nomad. Approaching the encampment now. This is, of course, what is left of Jehovah after you've recovered the housing for it at the Horizon ILS. Do you call it as such? Because it is a little glitchy at times. Do you refer to it as Jehovah, or do you refer to it as J or something else?
He'd probably refer to it as Jay.
J. All right. Okay. So it informs you that you're approaching the encampment. How would you like to lure away these bozos from their own encampment so you guys can get into stuff?
He does it flashy. He rides right into the middle, slams on the brakes, does a donuts, does a really slow donut, lowers the window on his side, and just like flips them off as he circles around. And after he does a few circles, he just speeds out.
It's dawn, so they're sleeping in their encampment, and you're doing donuts around the encampment, and you're just doing this number.
Yeah.
And then it hits you when they said bozos. They didn't mean like, oh, some jackwags took our stuff. They meant the bozos. This is a booster gang composed entirely of clowns.
Fuck
so what you
these
hear?
guys. Never mind. Fuck these guys.
So-
He's also firing out the shotgun out the back of his car, trying to kill clowns. Because fuck clowns.
You're doing donuts around the encampment, and you're just like this, and they're like, whoo! And then like they start jumping on their like rocket tricycles, and off they go in pursuit of you right out of the
Rocket
encampment.
tricycles.
You see as one of them jumps onto the back of the Firebird and is like holding on like woo, and the other one like rides up to the side, and one of them like actually has like wolvers or something, jumps onto the side of the car and starts trying to pry their way into the driver's side.
He's messing up my car. Okay.
He's messing up your car, I'm afraid.
So he what is it? Nomad would try to find like the nearest guardrail or like a light post or something that's coming up, and he would get as close as possible to it to like knock this guy off.
This is the Badlands, so there's no like structure here. It's just open
rock,
desert, flatland,
a tree.
and shit. Yeah, anything like okay. You find like a nearest tree, like dead tree or something, and just steer them into it. Yeah, you do that, and you see the guy's like, "Come on, do something fancy with your car!" And like you steer him right into a dead tree, and he goes splat. You leave him behind. The other one in the back like looks over, and you kind of make eye contact with them in the rear view. You hit the button, and up goes the trunk. He falls in, and there's a gout of flame, and the next thing you know, Bozo's falling off of the back of the car, screaming to death. Ah! The rest of the bozos follow you out, and they think they have you trapped. You do like a spin out as you're like nearing like a gulch, and you kind of spin out, and the dust and everything like swirls around you. And when it clears, you hear the humming and the thrumming of like over a dozen motorcycles and cars and trucks and stuff like that, with all these bozos like readying their weapons against you. At which point, Jace informs you, is like, "Shall I go ahead and give the order for the ambush to commence, Nomad?
He sits there and thinks for a moment.
Or do you just want to charge?"
He does both.
Both. Okay. You're like, yeah, go ahead and do that. And then you kick it into gear, and you just drive right at him. Hard cut to you at the garage a couple hours later as you're washing off bozo blood right off of your windshield and the front hood of your car.
With bleach, they're clowns.
With bleach, they're fucking clowns. Your agent also beeps. It's cyanide. Looks like you're on the payroll. Time to get to work.
Oh.
Who's next?
I'll do it.
You'll do it.
What am I doing?
All right, so even though it's cold on the West Coast, it doesn't snow very often. But in this particular day, it does seem to be. You do see some snow falling to the ground at the early morning hours, and it's a black snow. All the soot and the collected chemicals in the air have darkened the otherwise normally white snow as it falls to the ground. Where do we typically find Vector on a day as dreary as this?
Well, there's two options.
Mm-hmm.
Either one, doing a mercenary job, or two, practicing.
Practicing?
Doing kata and meditation.
Okay. It's been a while since you've been at the dojo. Since your parents were gunned down. Where does Vector have like an apartment, or are they squat? I think they squat. Do they not? In and around town.
I feel like we talked about it. I think it was just a ratty apartment.
Oh, okay. So it's like a
Maybe.
1-bedroom studio or something. Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Is that where you traditionally do the majority of your practicing?
Yeah, normally like you scoot the coffee table over and move things out of the way. There's no television, there's no entertainment pieces whatsoever. There's
Very
a
plain.
small shrine for incense and photos or whatever in Cyberpunk photos are now, like if they're little hologram thingamabobs.
Okay.
So yeah.
There's a knock on the door while you're throwing daggers or throwing knives at the corner or what have you, just practicing practicing your kata, as you put it, with your blade. Yeah, they're just like.
I slink over to the door and kind of like give a look, but keep my body mass from in front of the door.
Yeah, it's gonna peek. It's blast from the past. It takes a moment to recognize who it is. Japanese gentleman, probably in his 40s. Think like Ken Watanabe. This is Shogo Hamato. Comes dressed. He's a mercenary like you. He actually grew up with you out in the combat zone in Japantown. And he was actually part of the dojo. He was actually an orphan that got taken in by your parents, along with some of the other children that they ended up teaching at the dojo. He seems to be carrying what in his hands like this black velvet sort of bag, and it has like a black string strapped across it, and in a couple different areas. And he has his eyes sort of downcast behind these mirror shades.
I don't open the door, but I do speak loud enough to go, "What's your purpose here?"
Sensei's dead. And
Well,
the dojo is gone.
Yeah, that happened a long time ago.
Well, he's referring to the person who took over for your parents. Since your parents were gunned down, one of their students actually opted to continue the training that had gone on there with your blessing. This person was known as name. A moment. Hayashibata. Older man. By now he's ancient, according to what he's saying. But Shogo's saying that the most recent inhabitant of the dojo is dead. He's been murdered, and the dojo has been razed to the ground. What was left of it.
Okay. What do you want?
This belongs to you. He holds the thing that he's holding in his hand.
I think I know what that is, but unwrap it before I let you in.
He nods, unravels it, pulls the bag off of it. It's a sword, very much like the ones that your parents gave to you as a hand-me-down. He's like, this one belonged to Hashibata, and he's like, I don't know who came to kill him or why, But as a professional courtesy, I thought you would want to know. And he kind of like puts the blade down at your doorstep, and he walks away. And before he turns around fully and he walks away, and he's like, "You should be wary if you do go back there." It's like they may be. He's like, well, I don't have to tell you, but you should watch your back.
Thank you.
Nods and walks away.
I wait till he
He's gone.
goes. Okay. And then I open the door and take in the sword and examine it.
This one's exotic. The one that he kept. Like it actually has it's like a crystalline blade. This is actually not a cheap mono blade. This is like on itself worth about 5,000 euros. And it has like a crystalline blade, and it actually has a light that filters through it. So you can actually choose what kind of color you want, and most people choose red, of course. But and this is actually considered mechanically, it's considered a heavy or very heavy melee weapon, which typically means you only get one attack with it. But because you have a body of 12, I think you said,
Yes.
you could wield it normally. It seems that the person who took over for your parents owed you a debt, and since you're the last surviving kin, he owed you a debt, and this is what he left you. It's kind of an unspoken thing, like if this was technically your sensei and he was murdered, you have like a obligation, although you can check it or not, to look into why he was killed and whether or not you also are being targeted for some reason and why. That was the what Shogo was trying to get through, and I so badly explained.
I'll have to look into that later.
Okay. The agent beeps. You look over. Oh, Cyanide is calling again. The hell does she want?
Group chat.
A group chat. Yeah, exactly.
Play something fun.
We're down to 3 now.
Before the next person, I do want to take the break to thank both Untold Stories Project for the raid. Thank you. And
Nice.
thank you to Geek House for the follow. You are awesome.
Thank you so much. There's 3 of you left. Which one of you wants to go next? Meanie.
I'm gonna assume Candy or Rift because I feel like I should be last. It's my phone call.
It's your phone call, yeah. Candy.
Oh boy.
Oh, Candy.
Oh boy. I didn't want everybody to have the feels. Quite yet.
So in the weeks following the events in Horizon, what did Candy do, given what happened there?
She has money now, which is weird. to
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, it just feels
and
kind of
she
weird.
She would probably want to try to put some sort of either a down payment or be able to afford a little hole in the wall type of place.
Okay, you get a little place, sure.
That she can also use as sort of like a back. Every alley is a back alley here. A back alley clinic.
For 1,000, you can get a cargo container. Otherwise, you can do like the Cube Hotel for 500 a month. 1,500, you get a studio apartment. That's fancy. You want to go that
Doesn't
route?
need anything. She just needs something with a bed and a surgical table.
Okay, so probably a cargo container because you don't have any room whatsoever at a Cube Hotel. You're kind of cramped inside there.
She wants to be able to take in patients who need to be seen because, she figured she has the skill. Why not use it?
Sure.
To help others.
The boosters on your block know you. They actually like you because you occasionally are able to provide them with some drugs that they need to, do the things that they need to do, like stay up 24 hours a day and so on.
Now, you need to make sure to eat the sweet side first.
Yeah,
Not
we
the
heard
rough
that all
side, the
before.
sweet side.
Thank you, Candy. These booster gangs, not all bad, but these guys are, not the best of people, but they like you because you provide them with drugs, and in exchange, they keep people from breaking into your apartment, which is kind of nice.
Now remember, if it lasts for more than 24 hours, try to take it
I
back.
know.
Mm-hmm. I have to
Thank
get
you.
every time in case something happens.
Yeah, so you're, where do we typically find Candy in the evening?
Well, she's in the evening she's probably got the lights on to mark like enter here. Like it's not like an emergency room, but it's sort of like has like a little bit of lighting that she set up. She's also scouring the net trying to find any obituary details for her recently departed cop.
Oh no, that I'm afraid that happened in an area that isn't basically governed by any, local city government or anything like that. It's like its own thing. So if there was anything to come out of that, it would probably be listed under the information for the not Netwatch, Turing. Turing would have that information. Although one thing you did manage to catch in the last couple of weeks is the newest episode of Kurz, right after the news. It's right at the tail end of like the latest stories. The food truck wars are in their 6th week. 9 people are dead. And more on that later.
It's an actual war, right?
Of course. Food truck wars, yeah. After that, you catch the episode of Kurz where it's like, and you notice some things that you're like, oh, that's not right. What the fuck is that? And like you notice that they scrubbed everything after Enrique Haas was pulled out of his house. And there's a portion in there where you could hear him out on the street because that's where you were, where he was like, AI rights are human rights. That was cut completely. And then once he got brought out and bleeding out, as you finished getting to him, after that point, before you had that whole conversation, the whole thing transitioned out, and it focuses on some associate that works for Estrella Security that Jones worked for, another coworker. He's like, yeah, no, a lot of people didn't know this about Jones, but he actually lost his license as a police officer because he struck another police officer while on duty. He assaulted them because they were being too rough with a suspect in custody, and they go on like that. He lost his ability to conduct himself, and that's how he ended up here. And we worked with each other. He was a really nice guy. And it's in memoriam of Cyrus Jones. It talks about that, and it just has like a little clip of him at the end, like giving like a little personal interview, like, oh, I like people, and and this is what I do, and blah blah blah, and he talks a little bit about himself. You watch that and you're just like, oh my gosh. Do you step out at all in the evening?
She'll probably want to take a walk after that.
Sure.
After checking the weather to make sure it's not gonna be blood rain.
Your poncho.
Yeah.
It is a little bit of blood rain out, so you wear your poncho. And do you take like an Uber or something like that where you're going?
She's just taking a walk. She doesn't. She's she's angry. She's upset.
Mm-hmm.
She's trying to process emotions that aren't happy, and
your mind is somewhere else entirely, so you miss the 20-something messages that you get on your agent from your bank. You summon one of the local like auto drive taxis, and they come up and they scan you bring up your agent to scan to see if you have sufficient funds, and it's like, denied. It takes off, and you're just like, what? That's just today, right? I mean, you check your bank account, and you see that you're thinking at first like it's a glitch because you see like there's like a lot of zeros, and you're like, oh, that's probably the agent that's messing up. So you reboot it and it comes back up, and you check it again, and it's a lot of zeros, like 8 or 9 zeros. You're not sure how many zeros that is, and then you look and there's a number in front of it. You're like, I don't have that much money. What's that?
something's wrong. What's wrong
And you
with
see
this?
messages coming up like, please call us about your account, and you have like all these voicemails from some automated or AI woman's voice, like, hello Candace, please call us. Hello Candy, it's me again, please give us a call back.
Just shut up, I'll call you back!
What are you doing after that?
She's calling them back!
You call him back. You see, like, you go to make a call on the agent, and then you see, like, call blocked. And you're like, what the hell is going on here? And
What
you're
is
like,
wrong with you?
you can't make a call on your agent, and you're like, why is this happening? And you go to, like, backtrack out of where you're at, and you hear someone behind you, or ahead of you, actually, as you're walking between these two buildings, trying to get somewhere else. You hear somebody, excuse me, Miss Candace? Big guy, broad shoulders, suit. Hi, I'm with Chase America. I just wanted to have a chat about your account. He starts walking towards you.
Okay, can I help you with something? I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I've had a really long day.
Oh, I understand. You see, he reaches in his back, and he has one of his hands is out of sight, and he's like, "It's okay. I have a car waiting out here. I just wanted to have a chat with you, or some of our representatives wanted to have a chat about your account. We think there might have been some sort of a hacking attempt, or some sort of breach of security on your bank account. We wanted to talk to you about that." You hear somebody else coming up behind you, and you look, and there's somebody else, and they have something in their hands. It almost looks like a stick, but there's electricity crackling off the end of it.
I'm guessing this isn't one of those conversations where I can have an attorney present, right?
Sweetie, don't worry about it. He goes to grab you, and everything just kind of slows down, kind of like you're getting into a car accident. It's that moment, like where everything kind of like your adrenaline kicks in a little bit. Something happens, and there's kind of like a blur, and the guy in front of you jerks suddenly, and he spins out, and he falls on the floor, and his arm falls that way. And you're like, oh my gosh! And you turn back around, and you see the other guy's like, holy! And that's the last thing you hear as the guy goes. He falls to his knees, and he starts bleeding through his hands, and he falls forward dead.
Okay. Lacerations of the trachea. You need to
Something
apply pressure right away.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I'm trying to remember my medical training, and then something moves out of the corner of your eye. You look, and there's nothing there. And then there's a shimmer, and something crawls up the wall. When you focus your eyes on it, and whatever this thing is, moved fast enough that it could kill two men almost instantaneously, and it didn't manage to get a single drop of blood on your outfit. Whatever it is, there's a light there. There's like a little hazy red light, and it's whatever this invisible thing is. It's like slowly crawling sporadically up this brick wall in the alleyway. It just seems to be observing you.
Who's there?
You stare at it.
Yes.
It crawls up the rest of the way up the wall and disappears out of sight. You
Nope.
still feel it watching you.
Okay.
What do you do?
Okay, Candace, everything's gonna be okay. You just need an adult Iridol. You just need an adult Iridol right now.
Boop boop. The agent's beeping. Incoming call from Cyanide.
Okay, this one comes
I have great timing.
Perfect timing, yes. Okay.
Brilliant.
Rift.
Hi.
So, you're coming into the area underneath the streets of Night City. This is where the Irrationals make their home. Old abandoned subway rails have, no longer in use. You share some space with the Voodoo Boys and the like, but this is definitely your turf. You know how to get there. You've just come back from a very short assignment, very simple stuff. They had you do a short job solo by yourself, where you have to take out a target. You come in and you give the appropriate hand signals, or you make the appropriate communication choices with the people in the underground. They let you through. You enter the tunnels that lead into the main area where a lot of the irrationals in this particular chapter in Night City congregate. There's netrunners walking around full hap suits and stuff like that. They're jacked into their terminals, and a lot of people are like checking their weapons and stuff like that. And some people are just resting in their bunks. This is very, very military. It's right up your alley, of course. This is the only way that you've ever known since you were born into this life. So yeah, as soon as you come in, like some people nod and like, "Hey, Rift, Annalisa wants to see you." Annalisa, of course, being the leader of this particular chapter.
Guess that's where I'm going then.
You walk right in. And like, yeah, she's expecting you, but before they let you in to the chamber where she's in, they're like, wait out here. She's in a really bad mood. She's chewing out of somebody who's green, and you can actually hear her as you're walking into the chamber. Annalisa is Venezuelan. She's from South End. She's like 5 foot nothing, but she is all willpower. Like you have seen grown tough guys run in terror of her, and you actually you get a. Sorry, go ahead.
Feel bad for that guy. Pizza emoji.
Oh, yeah.
Pizza emojis
Oh, yeah.
to Nomad.
You hear her. I am asking you to do the bare minimum to become a revolutionary, and you are failing. You hear her say, and there's like a short silence. Get out of my sight. Doors open up, and some guy walks out. He's like sweating and shit. They send him right out the back, and you see as her bodyguard waves you in, you hear her like breathe something underneath her voice. Webong. Ah, Rift, she says as you walked in through the doorway. Now pay attention, everyone. Here is a real fucking revolutionary right here.
Hey, boss.
Have a seat.
Thanks.
As far as the background is concerned, when did you lose your bits exactly?
What?
Your bits. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, you're asking. I thought the character was asking me that. I'm like, that's
no,
a weird question.
This is the GM asking you. She wouldn't ask you that.
Right.
She would probably know already.
I thought it was in character too that I was very
Sorry.
I was like, so Rift, when did you lose your bits?
I had genitalia removed after my second mission, because second mission, girlfriend underwent cyberpsychosis during the mission and got picked up by Netwatch and is still in jail. And I almost died trying to rescue her instead of completing the mission. I'm like, that's not happening again. These are distractions.
Psycho. Okay, cool. What age were you when that happened? Were you were in your teens if this was your first mission? Or were you older than that?
So we made the irrationals so that they don't really count years. I didn't even start counting years until I was in my teens, so not a kid, but not an adult yet.
Somewhere in the middle. Okay. You know, you kind of feel that Annalisa always had a thing for you, but it came too late, perhaps. But she respects you because you are a true professional. She means everything she says is not clouded by any sort of emotion or what have you. She sits you down. It's like, so we went through the information that you provided, and by the way, that was a fantastic record that you kept. Fascinating.
Wasn't it?
AIs on the deep net. We could use that. This is their struggle is our struggle. I feel.
It's correct. Like, somewhere out there on the old satellite array.
He's like, and if we make their struggle our struggle, that means they can be allies to us. Tell me more about these mercenaries that you've been working with, these cyberpunks, because I've just become aware of a very interesting set of details that we can use them on.
Terra's Terra, nothing's changed. Reliable, more paranoid now, because we kind of screwed the pooch with Netwatch. Can't get any corporate jobs. He could definitely use some money.
Yeah.
Cyanide. The next Johnny Silverhand, definitely an asset.
That's definitely going to be an asset.
I was worried we might lose another Vector, but then they went ahead and upgraded everything again. So yeah.
How confident are you that you could bring in these runners for us?
Define for us.
For the cause? For our goals? Immediate and long term?
Half yes, half maybe. Nomad has a heart.
Good.
Cyanide has a heart. Candy has a big heart. Terra and Vector, they only care about money.
That can
However,
be arranged.
if we promise to take care of Terra's debt, yeah, around your little finger.
I approve. She's like, make it happen. I have a job. Do you have a fixer?
Sort of. I hear Nomad and Cyanide can get things done.
Good. We'll filter through them. Just to give it some cover. We don't want to, overextend ourselves in the public eye after all. When you're ready to accept the job, we'll get in contact with me. I'll provide you with some additional support. We have mostly support here. We need more boots on the ground, so to speak. And armas. Necesito armas, she says, and she looks around. I like the different weapons racks, and it's like old weapons and stuff like that. It's like he's like, I have an eye for some fancy gear, and I'm aiming to get it. I know you're just the person for it. Don't let me
I'm all
down.
for it, boss.
She smiles. And this is the perfect spot, I think, to take a short break. If everyone's cool. We'll come back
Yeah,
in about
perfect.
10 minutes.
Awesome. So we're hitting a weapons cache.
Yes. Welcome back to Cyberpunk Red in the Image of Humanity Born. We previously touched on each one of the characters individually to see where exactly they were at following the events, the harrowing events at the Horizon ILS from from the end of the Neo Spirits one shot. With the exception of one, of course, we still have to touch on Cyanide and what she's been up to in the weeks following that event. Where do we typically find her in her headspace right now? She had her apartment broken into. She had these crazy revelations brought up to her by this woman with a Western European accent. Looks like you, 20, 30 years older. You're almost like bisected by these cyborgs that intersected your security detail. They were from this Moss Biolabs company that used to work on viruses and stuff like that, and now I've gone into human DNA sequencing and cloning and stuff like that. Where is Cyanide exactly?
I mean, she was a little shaken by everything, but I would say that she is very cool, and that she's pretty good at keeping her cool and keeping it kind of internal and dealing with it. So she's had a couple gigs over the past month or so because that's how she makes her living. She's also had a scene that was probably very funny, but got on the cutting room floor with her building manager, where she tore into him about security issues and, kind of pulled a "do you know who I am? I could get you in a lot of trouble, sir" kind of thing. So she's, spent the time putting her apartment back together and, getting it back to its messy but not broken into state. And I would say that she also has been doing a fair amount of Googling. Because, she's trying to figure out what's going on. I think we just lost Michelle, but...
Yep.
But she's been trying to figure out what's going on. Our clones aren't a thing really in this world that we are used to. We're used to cyberware, things like that, but
sure.
Clones are a little strange, right?
Yeah, as far as the cloning technology, what is known, yes, they were able to successfully clone human skin and clone people and stuff like that, but it's not to the point where it's this is a fully functional human being after they've been cloned, if they have, it hasn't been reported widely.
Yeah.
And you would imagine if somebody had the ability to do so, it'd be pretty well known because, holy crap, that's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen the first couple episodes of Picard, she's doing the thing where she's calling her mom and being so childhood, right? That happened. Although her mom is probably in on it since she was a corpo, if that's the case. So she's trying to kind of be figuring out what's real, what's not. She's an only child, so she has no siblings she can go to. So she's just been doing a whole lot of, like I said, Googling and checking stuff out and figuring out what she can find out about clones and about whether she might be one, because sometimes people just look freakishly alike. So she's maybe there's somebody messing with her, this could just be weird. I don't know, you want to try to believe the more reasonable explanations first.
Okay.
So every now and then you meet people that you're oh, they look really similar. Maybe I'm having a Mark Hamill, Sebastian Stan moment. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. It's yeah. You're not sure what to think about it. That kind of shook you a little bit. So you've been having to do your own research and try to figure out was there any merit to what she was saying? This seems a little bit far fetched. That this sort of technology would exist and it'd be a secret. It's kind of weird. So yeah, you've been looking into that and you've been trying to go back to business as usual. Obviously, Andre was scared about what happened to you with the little incident concerning your security detail, and since the show sort of blew up, the show that you did for Kurz kind of blew up on the data pool. They're already working to try to get you out of that one studio apartment and try to get you into a nice place and stuff, with the permanent 24-hour security detail and drones and the whole 9 yards.
But until then, they were probably happy for me to have Tara to stay with me for a few days, since Tara
sure they don't care. As long as you trust them, they don't care. And they've posted a couple security people out front, but they're yeah, once the details go in though, and we're gonna sit you up in your own new place, we're gonna have to take you out of Night City. That's part of the agreement here. And
but I like it here.
I like it. Yeah, I like Night City and this craziness. And they're they wouldn't speak to that. They just kind of flatly said, yeah, so once we get these things in order, kiss that apartment building goodbye. It's part of the it's just corporate policy.
Are they trying to move me to just like a corpo area or like what?
Probably, you suspect so. They don't give you too many details, but if they were to move you into a nicer place, yeah, it's probably the more northernmost part of Night City, where like a lot of the corporate executives and the same place that you arrived at the very beginning with these cyberpunks, where Enrique Haas made his living.
Yeah.
Not too far away, the executives and what is the word I'm looking for? High threat targets, extraction targets would typically be in this very heavily entrenched
high value targets.
High value targets, yes, thank you. HVTs. They would also be sort of sequestered away with these rich executives in these sequestered little neighborhoods that are very, very heavily patrolled by corporate security. That's where you would imagine they're going to try to move you to. But in the meantime, you're staying in your little hole in the wall. Tara's like couch surfing, although he's not there currently. He's out somewhere scavenging, you're sure.
I'm pretty used to him only showing up to like watch TV for an hour and then go to bed.
Yeah, probably. You get
That's all right.
You do get contacted at the time that you had gotten contacted by somebody, an anonymous user, it was called, and you didn't hear back from them again. Except now, like, you're starting to get all sorts of messages on your agent, encrypted messages that your security team is missing. Like, they're not aware. The local netrunner is not seemingly intersecting these messages that are coming into you. That is impressive.
I have an internal agent too now, so I can just like see them, which is cool.
Sure. The local netrunner that they have as part of your security detail usually can monitor traffic going in and out, and they haven't said anything about it. So if they know something, they haven't said anything about it, or they just are completely oblivious to these messages that you're receiving. That include the anonymous user, but also this other person, who we're going to call. It's a good name for that. Oh, I'll have a list of names just for this sort of thing. Rain, like R-A-I-N. You get contacted by a Miss Rain, and she's interested, and it's all text message based. They basically tell you like, hey, we're interested we understand that you run in some very interesting circles. We have some work available for these individuals and yourself if you're willing to look into it a little further. The job itself pays quite handsomely. We need to know your decision within the next 24 to 48 hours. Assemble your team and message me back when you're ready. Pops up on your little side menu like, oh, huh.
Not a lot of details there, lady, but
Nope.
I guess that's the life now. People just throw some information at me and I have to roll with it, so. All right, yeah, okay, whatever. So I guess it means I'm going to call the team. I'm my agent.
On your agent.
So cool.
Where do you meet up?
Probably either in Nomad's vehicle or in my apartment, I would assume.
I'm surprised. I thought you were gonna go with Large Marge's donut barn.
I forgot that was even a thing that we said, 'cause I was never a Pee Wee Herman fan. Sorry.
Established
Sorry,
in universe fiction. Okay. So yeah, wherever you want to, meet up.
We can meet at Large Marge's Donut Barn, but I'm bringing tacos on the way.
Oh, okay, sure.
Funny enough, they serve tacos there.
Excellent.
Great catch-all.
Please,
place.
let's not
No.
start a conversation in chat on whether or not tacos are donuts or donuts are tacos. Some combination of this thing.
Too late.
Hot dogs are legal. Hot dogs are legally not a sandwich.
If you need the finite answer for that, just go look up the cube rule of food, and that's all you need to know.
Thank you.
But they do have something at Large Marge's that they call a margarita. It doesn't actually have any tequila in it, but it will mess you up.
I want this
Thank you
fucking
for that.
donut right now.
God,
A margarita. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
You all arrive, I would imagine, individually. Some of you come in a little late to that party, but you all congregate at Large Marge as your official meeting spot. And you arrive in different means. Some of you walk in. Some of you, like Nomad, arrives in the purple Firebird. And some of you arrive via taxi, I would imagine.
I want to be crashing at Cyanides, but I'm texting Nomad for a ride.
Right. Hey, can you pick me up? It's on the way.
Yeah,
You want me to go through the combat zone to pick you up? What are you, nuts?
Yeah. You got armor. You're fine. Just pick me up.
Candy had to walk.
Okay.
It's a long walk. Candy does not look great when she walks in, I would imagine. Just she's been through a lot in the last couple of weeks and even recently. So you all arrive individually or together, and when you get there, you see it's not a big crowd. I'm imagining this is happening like in the middle of the day or towards the evening. Nobody here is really a morning person, I suspect.
It's probably mid-afternoon, I'd say, based on where everybody was at the time.
All right, sure.
It's prime scavenging hours right there.
Exactly. Yes.
You show up, you show up over there, and you sit down in your normal sort of corner booth. A couple go-gangers like give you eyes as they walk out of the back, and they exit out front to go smoke. You guys sit down. You all sit down in your little booths, and it feels like it's been a long time, probably longer than it probably has been, only a couple weeks. Go right ahead.
So there's something you couldn't wait for when you got home later?
Yeah, because it was for all of you. Like, did you want to be the only one to know?
This isn't a trick, is it?
No,
Which-
okay. How would it be a trick? I'm not. You know me. Come on. We're friends.
Yeah.
Candy, you gotta trust people again. It's gonna be okay, all right?
I forward the
Somebody
message to
got
everybody.
Wait,
decapitated.
what?
Yeah, that happens. So I like forward the message away so they can see it.
Oh, you just play the message back?
Yeah, like I
Okay.
can just forward it to you, like or like a screen grab of it. Be like,
Yeah.
hey, so we had 24 hours, 48 hours to decide if we're gonna take this job that I know nothing about because these people are squirrely as fuck. But I guess that y'all know all about this whole net running bullshit, where people just don't tell you what you're doing. Is this
Edge
normal?
running.
My
Edge
agent's
running, sorry.
broken.
It's sadly pretty common.
Oh, okay. Well, I here. I can't show it to you. I don't have a physical agent. Somebody show her the message.
Well,
I can't like take it out of my head and be like,
Can someone fix
You can,
it?
you know,
Like,
you can like sort of like transfer the information to another agent if they have it nearby.
Yeah, I'll Candy, just lean in here, and I'll kind of put my agent up so that we can both. look at it.
she's gonna be like, Laura, Nomad sign it like, Vector, it's broken. Like, it's not working. I can't make calls. I apparently can get your call sign, but I can't get calls. I can't text. I can't play.
I mean, if it's just a broken agent, Tara, I want to look at that.
my
I-
not working.
Candy, just here. Let me take here. I
Look
take.
at my and she's gonna open up the bank app. Look at what's wrong with this.
We all see like $9 billion or whatever.
The account is locked.
It's a lot of zeros.
That's too many zeros.
I say something, but no one knows what because no one speaks taco mouth.
You see the
Candy.
waitress stops by like, oh, let me get you something for that, honey. And what about you all? The usual? Okay, be right back.
I mean, a margarita.
Starts dropping
Can I
off
have
drinks.
extra sprinkles?
On
Coming
the
right
Candy,
up,
that's
sweetie.
that's not a broken agent. That's
My phone won't. Like, I can't make calls. I can't receive calls.
Tara
And then
is correct.
some
There's nothing
people-
physically wrong with your agent.
Then also some people kind of tried kidnapping me.
What? Okay. We need to start from the beginning. Without all this disjointed whatever's happening. When did you almost get kidnapped?
It was some time, like, insert actual period of time here.
Like today?
Like yesterday.
Like yesterday.
Why didn't you come to one of our houses? You know where I live.
I couldn't get a ride.
Okay. And your bank quit working.
You literally know somebody with a ride.
My phone doesn't work.
See, that all makes sense. That all tracks. We don't know where you live, Nomad.
Lives in his car.
My
Great. So
phone-
what's she gonna do?
My
Walk
agent
around Night
stopped
City looking for
working.
your car?
My bank account's frozen. Some people tried to grab me off the street.
And what happened to them? Like
They
you don't.
got decapitated.
By whom?
No, I don't know. It was scuttling on the wall.
Riff, you want to look at our phone? See if you can figure something out with this.
I mean, if I still have her agent, you said that there's nothing physically wrong with the agent, right?
Nothing physically wrong with it, no.
I think someone did something bad to
It's
me.
a little sticky in places because,
I-
candy, but
Can I do anything on it? Like, does it move? Can I don't know.
it operates fine. The OS, there's nothing wrong with the OS.
There's nothing wrong with the OS.
Can you call me? Like, can you make a call on it? That Candy
Yeah,
said
can I-
she couldn't?
I'll try to
Locked.
call.
Locked?
So that's
Okay.
locked. Okay.
Just rings.
Can I
doesn't
can
go
I
to
run
voicemail.
a diagnostic on it and see if I can find out if there's a software issue somewhere, like deep in the phone or deep in the
If you
agent?
have a terminal or a computer of some
Some
sort,
people-
then yeah, you can absolutely do
some
that. If you
people
don't,
I
you're probably
can't-
gonna have
I
to go
can't-
somewhere else.
I mean, okay, so I can't. Ooh,
Some people from
do I
China
have
think-
do I have one of the additional 12 agents that I got off those dead
You
people?
probably
Sure
got
do,
all
yeah.
of them. You should have turned straight from the
Like,
dump.
Yeah,
You
so
got like a bag of agents.
So, oh yeah, if I just got that call while I was at the dump, I just go into my pocket and I just like, all right, okay. Well, first off, here, Candy, you can have that one.
That's-
Clean it off a little
It's
bit.
tricked
There-
out. It's got
there's, like-
chrome plated
What?
handles and stuff.
and blood. They don't
And a
mind the
little
blood.
bit of blood. A little bit.
Yeah, that's yours. You
Candy can
use
handle
that
blood.
now.
She's a med tech.
Yeah.
And
100%.
and then I'm going to use this one, and I want to not use my agent specifically, and I want to use one of these burner agents to try to use that as a diagnostic, so that way if whatever's on Candy's agent
Sure.
transfers, it's not my agent that gets
But
You
bricked.
can swap it out. For additional security, you'd have to see Rift about that though, because
Okay.
these things put out signals. They get picked up. They get picked up on the data pool, and so on and so forth.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, everyone. It's just that it's been a really weird couple of days. I haven't slept well.
Don't be
was
sorry.
eating a lollipop, but I just couldn't. And
We're gonna do one thing at a time here. We're gonna figure out what's up with your agent, and then we're gonna talk to Vector. Do you know of anything that could decapitate two people, then skitter up a wall and run away? That seems like your.
I lean in
Your
real
area.
close to Candy. I don't think it's laser eyes.
A robot.
Like what kind? I've never seen a robot skitter up a wall.
We're just going straight up robot. That's it.
Well, or AI, I suppose.
Can your legs
It did
climb
protect
walls?
her from- It did protect her from getting kidnapped.
That's a good question. I've never tried. They're brand new. Do you like them?
I think they're pretty great.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome.
I
There's probably wall climbing mods you can get, I'm sure. I don't
it
know.
all happened so fast. I didn't get a good look at anything. It was just this man from my bank, Chase Bank, appeared, said we're gonna need to talk with you, and I'm like, okay. And then another guy showed up with an electric stick, and I'm like, this doesn't seem like a fun talk. And
Wait, so the people that this spider robot murderer assassin thing saved you from were bank employees? Oh, that's great. That's great. Now we have them in Greta's. Okay, yeah, if y'all could figure out that agent, that would be amazing. 'Cause I do have a job for us, and I'd love to go on it, but not if Candy is being chased by Chase, ironically enough.
I know the irony is not lost on me either. But
It's
like,
a mixture
I
of
didn't-
Chase Bank and Bank of America. Chase America.
Right.
it
But
is.
we don't need Americans
Chase.
getting chased right now,
Chase.
because we have a job to
What
do.
if you guys transfer a lot of money into my account and not me?
I've never seen that much money in my entire life. I don't think any of us have.
Could have been an accident.
somebody. There could have been an accident. Somebody could have.
So-
Maybe like a grandparent died.
Do you have a grandparent that has $9 billion?
I don't know. Do you?
It's actually most standard bank accounts don't allow for that much.
Yeah,
that
no.
much money anyway. It's maybe capped out at a couple million. But
Yeah,
that's
you
what
have to
you're
put it like
looking
a
at right
trust when you hit like something major.
Oh, you know what? You
Yeah, I
might
had
have
a
been.
grandparent.
You might have been framed for embezzling or hacking.
Yes, because Candy, the master hacker.
Yeah, could happen.
Rift.
Just shoot laser beams out of my eyeballs and pour it in with my index fingers.
I can get an upgrade to do that.
Speaking of lasers, what can you tell me about the scuttling?
Blended
Assassin.
in. Like, if I hadn't been wearing my glasses, I wouldn't have been able to notice it probably. But it was like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
Would you say that it was just wearing clothing that matched to the wall, or
If I had to describe it, it was
I'm trying to
more-
remember what that thing looked like because you didn't really see much. You saw like a hazy red light.
It's
like
like
a-
it's sort of like a hazy red light, sort of like when you have tears in your eyes and you see a stop sign.
You saw it it kind of streaked as it moved past you, and then it just sort of was on the wall.
Wait.
How
Doesn't
much
sound-
do you have? I think Vector has Japanese as a language. Is that correct?
yes?
What do you have in local expert?
Good question. I shall find out.
Huh.
Say. Is that under
I want to say it's in the middle category of your sheet, towards the top.
education skills local expert your home? I have a total of. Oh wait, what is that? Level 2, and then status 4, and then base is 6.
It's not
Base.
great. You can roll it. This might be a little difficult to know.
Okay. Rolled an 11.
Not bad.
11. Anybody else have local expert? At least when it comes to corporations or Japanese culture, can roll that.
I think mine's just for Night City, I'm assuming, so.
I'm just loading everything back up because my computer had crashed earlier.
I do not.
I have, yeah, I don't have anything specific to it, but because I'm intelligence based, that my base is 10.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Yeah, you're not sure what that was. You've never seen anything, and none of you have heard of anything like that before, ever. So this is weird territory you're delving into. Rift, did you do anything with the agent?
While they're talking, I pull it over, unplug his phone from it, look at it, sigh heavily, and mutter, "This couldn't possibly go badly," and jack into it remotely.
There's no security to speak of on Candy's agent. I mean, nothing really spectacular. There's no devices connected to it, so it doesn't act as a controller or anything like that. It's connected to the local data pool, or at least it was. When you check the internal logs, it looks like it was disconnected, not on her end, on the client side. And this was period about 24 hours ago plus. It was disconnected. When you look at the records between that and like the messages that she started receiving from the bank, it started happening around just after some sort of a transaction occurred on her bank account through Chase America.
What was the source of the transaction? The bank or
Unknown.
outside of the bank?
Unknown.
Just didn't. I don't know what happened. All I would try to do was I tried getting a cab, and the cab told me no and drove off, and I was kind of really sad.
Yeah,
yesterday.
it scanned your agent. You're like, you don't have any money. It just drove off by itself.
Yeah,
I
taxi says I don't have any money anymore, and Um, and
Your bank says you have all the money.
Act also is saying that the account is locked.
Well, yeah, but also all the money.
I turn to the left and I lean over and look on the other side of the store at the ATM machine. Maybe we should deal with Dixie's things first. That could get dangerous real fast.
Cyanide things?
Cyanide's thing.
Cyanide.
I was like, who's Dixie?
You have contact information for this Rain person, Ms. Rain.
Yeah, but essentially, so y'all, they wouldn't say anything about what it was about. I didn't want to answer them because they said to only answer with a yes or a no, and I don't know how this whole edge running thing works yet, really. So should I say yes for it?
You can.
I'm talking to my
Oh,
friends.
sorry.
I'm not talking to you.
I will take that break, though, to also say I will upload all of Candy's contacts, games, and personalizations to the phone from Tara, and then
The
burn.
games are very important.
That's correct, with the save files. And then once that's done, I burn the SIM on her original phone, so it's useless. You can't be tracked.
Good call. Good call. All right.
Perfect. That was what I was going to do too. Looking to cyanide. Honestly, running like this, you just take the risks when you can. You got a job, we'll take it.
Candy, the agent that they hand back to you has like a different profile than yours. You're gonna have to start over from scratch. When you swipe down from the top, there's like this guy who's like got like metal teeth. He's like, he's got this ugly grill on his face, tattoos all over his face and stuff. Bald guy. He's got like a fancy jacket with like lining that there's LEDs and stuff like that. He's dead now.
It's true.
yeah, great. This is perfect. Thank you.
Very you.
Yeah, Rift, Vector, Nomad, Candy. Any input on this thing specifically before we get back to solving Candy's problems?
Oh, it's you guys.
Do we know anything about this person? Like, do they have an online presence? Do they have
What's your fixer level?
Dos.
Dose. You can. Let's see.
Which I think only lets me know
What do you
like
know about?
local stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm honestly
can-
saying it's a rocker boy, but if you're going Vixer, I might go media instead. That's fine.
Oh, that'd be good.
So here we go. Fixes. So you have operator at level 2. 1 and 2, contacts and clients are local honchos, gang lords, local neighborhood leadership. You can always find a place to source cheap equipment, everyday stuff, clients. Okay. You know local people. You've not heard of this Ms. Rain person, but you can probably get in contact with somebody locally and get some intel about like who they are.
Yeah, I'd tug on somebody who I trust just enough to like see what they say. If they've
Do you
ever
make the
heard
call
of the name.
outside or inside the donut barn?
Inside sounds fine, I guess.
Okay. Call up some somebody you know from the production line, people who know how to move stuff around the city. You're asking what kind of questions are you asking specifically, or are you just like, who's Ms. Rain? Have you heard of her? Blah blah blah.
Yeah, I just want to know, like, have they heard of the handle before? Do they know what it's associated with? Have they ever heard any other jobs associated with it? How tall is Miss Rain?
Well, he's like, you call up somebody who's works in a central part of downtown, and you see like they're like, oh well, I've not heard the name much. It's actually a recent name that started popping up very very recently. And by recently I mean the last couple of weeks. They're interested in moving some stuff offboarding stuff from West Coast, weapons primarily, high-tech stuff from Japan, Chiba specifically, cyberware, that sort of thing. Don't know any details about the lady. I've only heard what I've heard. They've only done a couple transactions here and there in the last couple of weeks, although supposedly they've been around for a while. They just don't do business very regularly. But if you have their number, I'm sure they'd be willing to wheel it. I haven't heard any bad things about Ms. Rain, if that's what you're asking.
I have them on speaker just it's easier that way. to just
Yeah.
send information. So, okay, cool. Thanks.
Problem.
So they're new.
They're new,
Um,
just like you.
They're new on the grid, and
I mean, I'm pretty new on the grid, so that makes sense.
probably make a name for themselves. Could just be a burner identity. Who knows? But
Did you get the number?
well, Dix or Cyanide would have the number, wouldn't she?
I mean, I've got unknown. Yes, I've got contact details to contact them back.
Best way to spring a trap situation.
Walk into it. Okay.
I mean,
You set up a deal, or you set up a meeting with the client, as it were.
Are we doing it? Everybody in? I haven't heard from Vector or Rift yet. Candy was kind of a stammer.
As long as there's pay involved. I don't
Yes,
really
there's
care.
pay involved.
Always. By the way, Tara, what do you do with the black suitcase?
Yeah, I guess if I
Left
came,
it in the back of the
if I
Firebird?
if I came from here, did I actually get picked up by by Nomad?
I would imagine so.
It's up to him.
Oh, he'll pick you up if you call him.
Okay, then yeah, I'll leave it. I'll leave it in the Firebird because that just seems funny to me. And everything that's happened now since then, almost forget about it. So it's just gonna sit in his car in like the back seat on the floorboards, rolling around, and we'll see what happens. That's
Did
how
you
I want
bring
that.
your
That's
other
how I
car?
want that plot line to play out.
Okay. Did you bring your other car out, Nomad? The combat van, as it were?
No, but we can fit 5
Everybody.
people in the Firebird, I think.
You
Yeah.
gotta try real hard, but you can't.
So someone gets to take a cab.
No, I got the extra seating mod, so it has 5 seats.
Right, but there's 6 of us.
Oh.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Huh. Well,
Yep.
that's what the trunk is for.
Trunk is where the engine is, remember?
Having had a
Oh, yeah, that's
Firebird,
right.
that trunk's not gonna get you very far.
Well, you know, but it's got that cool space up on the front where there is no. Yeah.
Oh, that's where Jehovah is now. That's where the recovered core hard drive is stored.
Oh.
Either way.
Someone's laying across everyone in the back seat. That's soft.
Safety. All right.
I mean, I probably shouldn't be alone right now anyway.
I mean, we might need a med tech, and you might need protection, so best
You're
thing to
part
do
of-
is be in a group. And also, if something is going on with your bank account, we can get you some extra cash right now. Might not be the worst thing.
You're part of
We,
the group.
we are
Candy.
not going to abandon what's going on with you. We intend to keep investigating it and figure it out, but we also
It's
need
fine, I'm
jobs
just-
that pay.
I just don't want you guys getting hurt.
That's what we're in this for, right? I kind of like
But-
look at Vector, like, back me up.
We're in it for the money and the notoriety.
Yeah.
You're part of the group, Candy. You'll be safe with us, and we'll do our best not to get hurt. But that's why you're here. If we do, so
I'll make
Rift,
sure no one
thoughts?
hurts you. I'll kill them first.
I like money.
All right. I
Just
will
My
message
answer.
Rain back and say,
All right.
yeah, we're in.
Cool, she says, and she sends you the details on a meet. Gives you a time, a date, just before sundown, maybe like 6-7 o'clock at night. Industrial sector
Like tonight.
tonight.
All right, so we got a couple hours. Anybody want to look into Candy stuff? Where did the corpses end up? Did you just leave them there? Are you on camera? I have a lot of questions.
Do we
I
have
don't
like
have a lot of
footage of the
answers.
location?
I tried applying pressure, but it was too late.
Oh.
I tried applying pressure so it would stop the bleeding, but it just kept bleeding.
They were decapitated, you said. You know you can't stop that with pressure, right?
Let's say you could stop.
Completely decapitated. One guy
Apply
just had his
pressure to
throat
a
cut,
decapitated dude. That's
almost
impressive.
decapitated.
Like-
The other person lost their arm.
Oh,
And
okay.
the other person lost their arm, just like it. Just like this.
I mean, that's not a big deal, right? In this day and age, really. Lose an arm, buy a new arm.
Corporate foot soldier, they'll probably end up with a cybernetic,
Well.
I'm sure.
Better them than you.
I'm just sorry. Like Everyone keeps dying around me.
That's a thing that you're probably gonna see in this lifestyle. I
If
feel like
somebody dies around you, they probably deserved it.
Then that's when that's when the waitress walks
Reassuring.
in and goes and just starts setting down refills. Like, okay,
whatever. The waitress lives in
Go
Night
away.
City.
Right.
She's heard weirder things,
She's
but that line
seen
in
people
particular was
die.
like, all right,
That waitress
enjoy
is
your
harder than all of us.
If you're
I,
a waitress to a bunch of booster gangers in
Solid steel.
Cyberpunk, you
Oh,
are
yes.
the most hard ass.
While everyone is
100%.
looking at the waitress, I text Tara. Yo, so when this job is over, I got a thing lined up. It'll pay your entire debt.
I literally kind of I look at the agent and then I look to him.
Taco
and
mouth.
I'll just put the agent away. That, like, a proposition like that almost wouldn't even register like as being real. So I like that gets filed away in the can't mentally process that right now. Part of the brain.
Yeah, I don't want anyone here getting hurt.
Oh,
Oh, we're gonna get
I
hurt.
didn't send that text anyways. There was a miscommunication inside.
Oh,
That's kind of what I thought. So okay, good. But yeah, no, Candy, we're gonna get hurt. That's why we need you. Like, you're part of the team because people are going to get hurt.
So in that case, we got to retcon a little bit, Eric. And I would say, when asked by someone, I'm saying Dixie today. When asked by
No, wait, I did
Cyanide,
that.
what I think about the deal, I say, I've worked with that person before. They're reliable.
Yeah, no, that is what I thought. Is that your people were going through me?
Yeah.
So it didn't look okay. Good. We're on the same page. All right.
And then I say, yeah, they're pretty reasonable too. You should come up with a figure before we
Kind
get to
of
the
figure.
meeting. How well do I know you, Tara?
pretty well, but I actually wouldn't talk about that part of me too much, because if I tell people about it, they can turn me in. So, you know, you might know that I'm running from something. There's a debt involved, but you wouldn't know the number.
They often will not only pay you in Eurobucks, but they'll take care of problems for you too. Look at Tara. Any problem.
And like as you say that, I like look at Candy.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, they could get us into the phone.
But also, can they get her out of Chase America?
They can get us into the phone, and the money's real. We could buy an army to protect Candy.
I've had the same account for years, like ever since my parents set up a trust, like a scholarship fund for me.
Can't hurt to ask them.
Candy doesn't need an army, just one solo.
Name Vector. Sure.
You got a wish item? Put it on the list. Let's make a wish list. They're good. They're good people.
I'm curious,
Alright.
which of you are going to show up for the meet to speak face to face with Ms. Rain?
I was
I'm
hoping all
going.
of us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
The whole group shows up.
I would imagine.
that's what I
Who's
assumed
gonna
would
do the
happen.
Talking.
Probably me and Nomad.
Okay.
Maybe some Candy if we need some emotional backup, or some Vector if we need some badassery.
Solid. Okay. Sounds good. Did you anything before you go to the meet? Anything specific? Like, oh, I gotta go turn off the stove or whatever. I don't know.
I do ask Grift since he knows them, like what would be the best attire and look to show up with.
The language that Rain is using seems to indicate corporate, which means probably dressed very conservative, you know, like very suit and tie kind of deal, you know. Otherwise, you're likely to get treated like you dress.
Right. So Cyanide will show up with her, chem skin and tech hair, very subdued, very normal looking, like hair pulled back in a bun, suit, all the the whole 9 yards. Because her entire fashion is high fashion, so she has like a thing for everything.
You're very well dressed for this. Yeah. Nomad.
He really enjoys leisure wear. So he's in his usual. He zips up his tracksuit just to look a little more.
Okay.
Cyanide's like combing his hair as they like drive
For your question about things we do before we leave, yeah, I'll actually take Tara aside privately. Since we're not going to do the texting and be like, look, they can make your problem go away, you just have to ask.
Okay. I don't know what it is you think I'm gonna ask them to get rid of. Like, I don't know. Set me up with a workshop. I'll be okay.
No, your problem. The one you never talk about. Just ask them.
You think I'm gonna ask a bunch of people I don't know to take care of a problem like that? I'm not trading away one debt for another debt to a bunch of people I don't know. I can run from the corpos. I can lay low. I can get by. I don't know who these people are. I don't know I don't know these people. No. I don't need them to take care of anything for me.
No, and I don't think you understand. You're not swearing fealty. That's how you're going to get paid for this job. That's your payment. Service rendered. End of story.
EBs are fine. Cash works.
Then you should name the amount you need to solve your problem.
Riff, we've run together for a while now. You know just as well as I do. Deal or a payment comes along is too good to be true, it is. I'll take what is owed for this job.
No deals.
I'm not getting in debt to anyone else.
All right, your loss.
Cool.
I ain't taking a bullet to the back of your head for you either, though. Because you're a dum-dum.
I love that like our badass like augmented person Rift is like, you're a dum dum.
He was the one who made a pinky swear with Candy. Yeah,
it's true.
correct.
No, like everything about Rift is amazing because it's
Yes.
like he's one of the more badass people in our whole crew, and then he's like 7 sometimes, and I'm like, all right.
And normally, I would send this as a side message, but it's good drama for the show, so
Yeah, totally.
player knowledge only. Rift will then contact the boss and say, you want Terra in, you're going to have to put on the pressure. You're going to have to make that debt way more important than it is right now. Yeah, this is getting dark.
Ooh.
I think I'm gonna rate something like that.
Make him hurt. Make him desperate.
Yes, I think we can find ways to make our new friends think irrationally, she says. She hangs up.
Do you think,
Love you, buddy!
Yes, Candy?
do you think
Bring
I can get a ride back to my clinic so I can at least close it down for the night if I'm gonna be busy?
I know that.
Yeah, we can make a stop if we need
I can have a car brought around for a few of the rest of us. So.
I just want to be able to turn off the light.
to. You don't have
You
a,
didn't do that before you left. Oh, okay, sure.
you don't have an app for that?
Yes, let me go grab my totally functional.
You've got one now. It's brand new. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
you gotta. Yeah.
It's got a toothy, balding Jared Leto type on there. Like a Jared Leto Joker.
Yeah, no, I'm over your like 30-year-old references.
My parents were squares, man. I do the best I can.
Like, I just want to make sure that everything's okay down there before I go to.
Yeah, sure.
Go to the neighborhood that that she's having you go to, Nomad. It's a rough place. Rougher than where Cyanide makes her home. you see like bombed out buildings on the corner, squatters, booster gangs running, driving around on motorcycles and stuff. Except when you're driving into this place just before the sun goes down, it's unusually quiet. Too quiet.
Yeah, this is home sweet home right now. Yeah, right over there. That place. If you go in the dumpsters at like 2 in the morning, sometimes you're lucky and you'll find some old like bags of like old sugar, and it's really useful for when you're making stuff. And then if you go over there, sometimes you're lucky and you'll find like used coffee.
Well, people notice the Firebird as you're driving into the neighborhood, and they run in the
Oh.
opposite direction.
Okay.
And like sometimes if you look over there, sometimes they'll have these really pretty like neon lights up, but it helps cover up like the lights of like banging and grenades from time to time. And sometimes there's fireworks, but then you're like, are those fireworks or are those fireworks? And it's just crazy. But it's home.
You're nearing the corner, and as you round that out, you all take notice of the gunshots, bullet holes on the walls, riddling the side of the building. And then when you open up into the main street, Candy's little clinic is off to the side in a row of a series of different shops, abandoned shops, and so on. Hers is probably the only one that's active on the street. You're telling them all this candy, and then you have to stop because as soon as you round the corner, you see about 5 or 6 different dead bodies out in the street, and the window to your clinic's been busted open. Stuff is out on the street. There's glass on the floor.
Well, this is about the worst possible thing that could have happened.
That's normally not there.
Your booster ganger friends, they're all dead.
So I know Cyanide's gonna get out her gun and approach. I'm assuming that Vector's with me.
So I'm
It's
gonna
on a time.
say this now before the scene gets going. The car doesn't fit us all. We'll say I'm the one that's not there. I took a taxi.
I had said that I had my car brought around, so I'm.
Oh, I missed that.
Y'all.
Okay.
Yeah. I have an agent's car, so they just take me places sometimes, especially now with the security risk.
In that case, I'm also gonna ask Nomad, why are they all running away from you? Have you been running people down again?
Not
Only
inside the city.
Only bozos.
Weird.
My shop. My friends.
We should probably investigate.
You're friends with booster gangers? Alright, whatever.
That's hardcore.
Aren't
Bob
you?
and the boys were so nice.
You think everybody's nice. That's kind of a flaw.
They always stopped by and made sure nobody messed up my shop.
Just staying in the car.
Nomad will hang out by the cars, more like in the street, sort of like looking around, sort of surveying. trying to
I'll
Yeah.
stay with Nomad,
find cover.
unless Tara wants to.
No, I think I'll get out of the car, but I do want to stay next to it. Like,
Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to be stuck in a car that's hard to get out of if stuff goes down. But I don't
You're
want
leaning
to
on the car, like on the Firebird
Yeah,
out
so just
front.
kind of watching everybody, and I'll
Nomad
just kind of-
waves over and is just like, "Don't lean on the car."
A couple of people lean out of different windows and stuff. They see you guys, they go right back in.
I look at Tara. I look at
So-
Tara's arm.
Okay, hold on. So I stop leaning on the car. I take my heavy pistol out and I plop it on the body of the car, just kind of like just rest it there. But I'm not leaning on the car.
Vector, you should
I-
go
Vector
ahead
and,
so that Candy can
Cyanide.
check on her friends.
I also look at
Right.
Tara, and I look at Tara's new arm, and I look at the car and see it's a new paint job. Then I follow the cyanide in.
Yeah.
Candy's checking up on the bodies on the street.
Once
seeing if
we
any of them
clear
are-
it, like I said, once we clear it, you can check them.
No,
So
Candy's
some
not
of you
thinking
hang
rationally.
back.
Day.
Vector, Cyanide, and Rift, you said?
No, I'm going in to help clear the building with Vector.
Oh, okay, got it. So you
Yeah,
go
and
in
I'm
with
I'm
Vector.
behind Vector.
Cool. All right. So the three of you are going up to the clinic, and all the lights are off,
That's not normal.
and it looks like it's been broken into. The booster gangers that are out front very easily have been shot to death, and you hear noises coming from inside of the the clinic, way in the back.
Whenever
the
Candy tries
sound
to
of-
say anything, I'm just like, shh, shh. Like we're trying to catch them by surprise.
It's the sound of feet on glass or boots on glass, crunchy sound.
Mm-hmm.
So Vector is going to try and get a peek into the building, maintaining that keeping my face out of sight as much as possible. I'll maybe use a reflective surface.
I like hand you like a makeup compact.
Yes, thank you. Vector would just kind of nod.
Are
That
you
was
arranging
ever going
your?
yes, thank you, like a weirdo. So.
Are you arranging your solo points in a particular fashion before you go in, or are you keeping the previous configuration? That question also goes to Rift.
Ambush avoidance, 100%.
Okay.
There's
Vector?
I forget exactly what it's called, but there's an
Threat
ambush
detection.
avoidance. Yeah, that's the one.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
use one in threat detection, one in spot weakness, and one.
Are you going in quietly?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Roll stealth.
I'll do 2 in each spot weakness and threat detection. Where is my stealth?
I got a 17, sir.
Yeah, you got it. Vector, what'd you get?
Assuming that I should roll this too, since I'm approaching with them.
Perception and stealth. Yeah, stealth first. Let's go with stealth first, so that they don't hear you.
13.
13. Okay.
Candy is also with them trying to go back to her thing.
Oh, I hit the wrong button again. I always do that.
I'll roll stealth.
Mm-hmm.
Do I also roll perception?
Oh, look at that! Oh, look at that!
Okay.
What am I looking at?
You two are quiet. They both got
Whoa! So you guys you all don't make a sound as you're approaching the clinic. Now roll perception.
Even though I'm still in my suit, I've gone to like flat matte black again that I went before when I was being stealthy.
26.
Also can't
I
see.
rolled a 26 on my stealth.
Wow. They don't know you're there.
Rolling human perception?
No, just regular
No,
perception.
regular perception. Okay.
19 for me.
Whoa.
I got a 13.
Candy also 13.
Okay. One of the you hear stop, what's going on? And like you hear like the crunching of the glass stop, and you hear like a running out. Somebody's running out the back.
I didn't even know I had a back door.
I look at Vector and I do a hand sign. Number of runners, direction. Look at your legs. In other words, you can catch them.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go for it. Vector just gives a very serious nod and just.
Nailed it, Cyanide. That's
All right.
how military my hand signs are.
The rest of you, as Vector like disappears down the side alley to go around the back, what are the rest of you doing?
Oh, sorry.
Weapon comes out, aim in direction of the crunching boots, because there's probably more.
Mm-hmm.
Move forward slowly.
There's some movement in the back room, what would be considered like the office area. As you survey the interior of the clinic, you see that a lot of the stuff has been sort of ransacked. Somebody kicked in the door or something, like they
Rude.
broke stuff and they started taking what supplies are there. You've been robbed, Candy.
Candy's gonna just be like, I've got an idea. She's not the smartest one, but she's gonna be like,
as you approach up, you see that there's movement. There's some movement going up by the room. You see somebody like slip out and run out the back door. The door swings open, lets in the remaining daylight, and all of a sudden they run around the corner and they go oof. You hear somebody like run into something and they fall down. Vector, you come around that corner and that person looking back over his shoulder might as well just have run into a brick wall. They run into you and they stop. They fall down on the ground. They're like, oh, this guy. When you look at this guy, you've been in bad places enough to know that this is an addict. So he was looking for some sort of pharmaceutical drugs out of this clinic, apparently, that nobody's in, and him and his buddies back inside were ransacking it for supplies.
You vile
No.
scum.
They see you and they're like,
realize if you'd have just asked her for help, she'd have probably just helped you.
interrogation.
Yes.
Sorry, intimidate.
Intimidate. What's that under? People.
Social skills.
Social skills. I guess the thing that I do not have.
You do have
as
interrogate.
No, as a person.
Oh,
13.
yeah, there is no actual intimidation, Eric, but they do have interrogation.
I rolled a 1 for them, so they're just kind of like, please don't hurt me. They're obviously strung out. These are recovering brain dance addicts, so they need, like, when they run out of that, they need anything to like stimulate their mind, and they look to oftentimes to stimulants or anything like that to try to like keep them active. Sometimes they even disseminate the pharmaceutical drugs that are good, and they turn them into street drugs, which are bad, which lead into addictions. So these people, you've seen this before, Vector, so you kind of have a little ounce of pity, but not a lot, because, what do you do with them? You let them get up and take off, or you put the beat down on them? What do you want to do?
I grabbed them by the back of the shirt or jacket or whatnot, and I kind of drag them back inside to Candy, and I go, apologize.
You bring them back in. You see the other two that are in the office hear what's going on. They kind of peek around the corner. They're armed with something, but you see the guy that you've got, like, with your hands around their scruffs, like, it's come out, man. It's okay. They're not gonna kill us, I hope. Usually they come out and they got their weapons out. One of them's got a shotgun, the other one's got like a pistol and a knife, like a knife and stuff, and they're just coming out warily, and they're like, they drop whatever they had in their hands and they start moving away. Like, it wasn't us, one of them says, and the girl's like, yeah, it was those fucking corpos. Those suits came in here and they ransacked the place. It wasn't us. I thought this place was gone.
And Candy speaks up and it's like, because of that high stealth chick, it's like, when did you get here?
Yeah, they're just like, the fuck?
This is my clinic and my home.
They look at each other with an ounce of regret. It's like, we thought you were dead.
Yeah, so
No,
Cyanide also... Go ahead, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just really quiet when I need to be.
You also weren't here.
I wasn't here. I was over at Marge's Donut getting donut with extra sprinkles.
The one guy you have by in your hands, Vector, he's like, check the tapes, and he points to the corner where there's like a little surveillance. It's like an old school like surveillance system that you got set up here, something fancy.
I hit the record button like the instructions said.
There's no power currently, but I'm sure one of these fine people can take care of that problem for you.
But
I look at the addicts and I'm like, these guys didn't do this. They're not the threat. So I go back outside. Yo, Tara, get the lights on, buddy.
okay.
Yeah, and
the
like...
three of you. She looks at the three of them. The three of you, sit down on that couch right now.
They look at each other and it's like, oh shit.
Sit down. Okay.
Can we go?
No! Sit your butts down.
You're not the police, one of them says.
No, but I am the person who has the stuff that'll help you feel better. So sit your asses down so I can take care of you.
Sit on the couch.
Behind Candy, I'm sitting there with my katana, just kind of like going tap, tap, tap.
I will deal with the three of you in a moment. Might have something that can help you a little bit.
Tara,
But-
what's your electronic engineering or what have you?
Quite a bit. Let's take a look.
Quick question.
I mean, basic tech, cyber tech, demolitions, electronic security.
That one.
Electronic security.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my best ones. Okay.
I just want to know what it is, like what you have. You don't have to roll.
14 base. Sorry.
14. That's pretty good. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to roll.
So if he says look for the lights, again, I'll take the gun off of Nomad's car and just kind of like look around the building and look for
Hub.
look for the
You find the junction box.
hub.
It's not hard. You see other buildings that patched into it as well, and you're just like, huh, shut them off. And you unplug. You basically take one out. You do some splicing, patch them back in. So now they're siphoning power from the other building down the ways. All of a sudden, the lights flicker on.
I tell these two that are outside, those are just junkies in there. The real culprits are gone. Probably the same people that are messing with her account.
Yeah, I heard.
Oh, no, sorry. I was
Broken
telling
window.
Tara and Nomad.
Oh, okay, sorry. We were all like waiting right outside, so it's like I do.
Are there cameras on the outside of the building or anywhere?
One, just facing
One?
the front entrance. Yeah.
And they didn't
Alright.
go in through the front entrance, I would imagine.
I do just want to clarify one thing. We came here to turn the lights off so we could go on a job, and I just turned the lights on. So, what are we doing?
Checking the security capes.
I'm gonna go on
Okay.
a limb, just a wild limb here. We got crazy robot running around, cutting people's heads off, and some uncrackable phone killing device, and $9 billion sitting in an account. I don't think they're gonna get caught by a couple of street cams.
You,
Guess we'll find out. Play.
I mean,
Well, I've done dumber things.
it's allegedly a robot.
You look through the tapes
Alleged.
and you all kind of like hover over the monitor as you're like going back, sequencing back a full 24 hours rift, and you see the last remnants of Candy leaving the clinic with one of the gangers that are now dead on the street, and she's like talking to him and they leave, and then you're like fast forward, she packs up the place, she leaves, and several hours after, light changes. You see in the dead of night, this corporate car pulls up, and these suits get out, kick in the door with guns out. They start looking around. They trash some of the place looking for something, anything. You're not sure what it is, but they go room by room and they're searching for presumably Candy and maybe something else. You're not sure, but they're checking all the computer equipment and stuff, and they take the hard drives out of a computer if you had one, and they get back into the car and they drive off.
Hey.
Then afterwards, people start trickling in. Actually, sorry, they pull up and they kick in the door. That's when the gangers show up, and they start trouble with the corp guys that are inside the clinic, and that's when the shooting starts. These guys are enhanced, so when the gangers pull out their guns, they're already dead, because they move that quickly, and they move and they take cover and they start firing out through the window. That's how it got smashed outwards, and they ended up shooting the gangers out on the street. The firefight maybe lasted 10 seconds at best. One of the gangers ran. Because they got riddled to death by like 3 or 4 corpos. After they ransacked the place, they got what they needed, they got in the car and they drove off.
So
Looks
the
at
video
Candy.
confirms what we- yeah.
Look at Candy and say, notice what they're doing. They're not just looking for you. They think you have something. You're a mule or a patsy. Somebody's setting you up.
I don't know. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just.
That's the point of
opened
being a
up a
mule or a
shop
patsy,
here.
is that you don't know what's happening.
They're not looking for the AIs that we've encountered, are they? Like,
I don't know.
If so, pocket trunk.
uh,
I mean, all I did was open up shop here, try to help people who need help but can't afford it as much.
No one's blaming you, but do you have anything to contribute to the actual, like, overarching what's happening? Like, anything more that you can remember that isn't just about you being blameless? Because we know you're blameless because you're amazing. Like, you are a sweet person, you're wonderful, you help everybody you come across. Nobody thinks you're to blame unless you're just the best actor I've met in my entire life. So what else do you remember? Anything weird happen?
The corporation was chasing America.
Mm-hmm.
The bank account's the account I've had ever since I was, like, pretty much a kid. My parents put money into it so I could go to college.
Okay.
They wanted me to excel at something, and I did really well in all my medical exams, except for one.
Right.
Well, has money been sitting in that account for years? It seems like, what's going on with this account? Everything's that's the biggest thing we've got going on here. What is this account?
It's what my parents set up for me when I was a kid. I put my own money in it when I used to work like part-time jobs. Every time I've gotten money from working with you guys, it's gone in there.
Nomad, you feel like you're being watched out on the street. You can't put your finger on it though.
And look outside. Is there anything going on?
The people that were peeking earlier already went back inside. They don't want any trouble. You saw
there
your
no-
car coming down the road, and they're like, "Oh shit, more corporals maybe." I don't know. Let's get out of here.
I do an actual tactical survey to try to see.
Roll
if there's
perception.
Maybe
There it is.
maybe I just won a lottery. That's probably what happened, right?
You play the lottery?
The secret lottery.
Oh,
Then you did not win the lottery.
I'm gonna
Flavor
add
question.
4 points to that to give it 13.
Not enough. But you don't notice anything. You feel like you're being watched. Like it's a really bad feeling. Like your hairs stand up on the back of your neck. And you're like, there's something wrong here.
Okay, kids, we
speak.
need to go.
1 second, Vector, speak.
Oh, player question. Do
Yes.
taxes exist in this world?
Technically, Night City falls under the Pacific Confed, I believe. So yes, you have a mayor and the whole 9 yards.
Candy, did you remember to pay your taxes?
I'm normally very good at filling out my
There's a police
W-9s.
department, so
Y'all, if you
We
did not pay her taxes, they are not going to deposit millions of dollars into her account and then try to murder her. That is not how this works.
we
see
can
the
have
junkies
this-
are like, "Can we go now, please? This has nothing." to
No, fuck you.
Yeah, we should actually go. We're being watched.
Okay, we can go in 1 second.
Candy's gonna give all 3 of them a lollipop of a different color. She'd be like,
No,
"Now
give them all
remember-
blue. They're all fucking blue. Look at them.
Now, remember, sweet side first, never stick side."
They look at each other. They nod and they're like, "I'm sorry." The little lady's like, "I'm sorry," and like they leave. You do anything else while you're at the clinic, or?
I'm just gonna try my best to... She's even though it doesn't matter because the window's busted in, she's gonna take out a key and she's gonna lock it up on her way out.
Adorable. Alright. You lock up as best as you can. Jump back into Nomad's car. You can drive off for the meet. Doesn't take long to get to the industrial sector. As you arrive, you see that there's 2 large SUVs and a woman in like a suit, slick back hair, smoking a cigarette.
I go back to like
It's rain.
corpo look. Yeah.
Sure. You 2 are the only 2 that leave the car.
I think we all leave the car, but I think that
Okay.
no matter first, everybody else,
Mhm.
like it's like our entourage. And
Yeah.
Candy's in the way back because if she cries, I can't deal with that at this meeting.
She appears to have 2 local, like, possibly enhanced thugs with her, like 2 bookends. On either side of the SUVs, a couple other guys inside the SUV are kind of hard to see through the tinted window, and she turns around, looks over her shoulder, takes the last drag out of her cigarette, throws it on the floor, stomps on it, turns back around, it's like, She checks her watch. You're on time. Excellent. I believe we're ready to start getting down to business.
Lead the way.
Let's talk about guns, she says, and she smiles. That's where we'll stop.
Oh,
That's so great, though. I love that.
let's talk about guns.
Eric,
Let's talk about guns, baby.
I have a question.
Let's talk
Yeah.
about you.
How
and
tall
me.
is Miss Rain?
5 foot something, I don't know.
Oh, the average height of a woman, 5 foot something.
Good job.
I did.
Anywhere from 5'0" to 5'11".
I made up all of Ms. Rain, sorry. I have no idea. That's all the time we have for this session. I hope everybody here and those watching enjoyed the show. We'll continue our adventure into the dark future next Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you enjoyed tonight's program, feel free to check out our other awesome adventures and terrifying tales. In the way of awesome adventures, this Wednesday we have our own Space Alert Pajamas running Infinity. Outer Worlds, Inner Demons by Modiphius. And while we don't have, and also we have the Scarlands campaign, Dracogenesis Titan's Lament, this Friday with Patty. Also, don't forget to check out Thursday. We're wrapping up Black Void by Modiphius with Kimchi. And for Terrifying Tales, we have Chronicles of Darkness, No Time for Reality, run by Tyler on Onyx Path. Let's see. And don't forget Sunday. Also, we have Tales of Terror and Damnation, also by Tyler, with the hot new modern era tale, Lurking Silence, which uses Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. And don't forget to tune into tomorrow for the No Time for Reality on Onyx Path. Also, and now we want to make sure that we get the votes in, as it were. All players in this game can select another player as their favorite for that session. For any reason, the recipient will get a reward in the form of 20 improvement points, or IP, for their character. Reviewers voting is also open. You two can choose a new favorite each week for all of our shows, but you have to be quick because voting ends the moment our closing reel finishes. So be sure to cast your votes in our Twitch chat room. Beginning with Sean, who very well portrayed Nomad so excellently. Who's your favorite this session and why? And where can people find you online?
People can find me online at SpaceLordPJs or at Cartoon.Ninja. I'm gonna vote for Cyanide. Yeah.
Choice. All right. And Dixie.
I was gonna vote for Candy, like hands down. Like I think that Michelle just always gets so into this role, and I love it so much. Like I always feel bad because in character, I feel like I'm always like irritated with her, and I need her to know that like out of character, I'm having a good time. But like my
Candy's a
character
blast, yeah.
would be irritated by her character because I'm like, calm down, yo, hey, be chill, what's up, hey, stop it, and like it's a really fun dynamic for me, and I enjoy it every week.
Cool. Where can the viewers find you online?
Oh, at Dixie Cyanide at all social media, and on the Onyx Path podcast, the Onyx Pathcast. All over,
Ever.
random places.
Oh goodness, so many good choices. Crud.
So many good performances.
Just throw a dart at your computer screen. I promise it won't hurt it.
I don't have any darts in hand,
You have,
but
like,
I
a
have
Nerf
some
gun?
very sharp dice.
Those are metal too, so they're gonna.
Please don't throw that at your screen.
No, I won't. It's okay. I bet Steve's regretting giving me this Yule present now. I'm gonna have to go with Rift because of nothing serious. It's just the dumb comment.
That was really good.
Valid.
You got a pinky swear. You said a dum. I fucking love it.
But yeah, you can find me all over the internet as Changeling Ever, and in every magnificently medicinal, metaphysical myriad of myth that Vorpal Tales has to offer.
Word choice. All right.
I just alliteration. That's all. I'm happy now.
Love it. Steve.
You can find me all over the internet as Voodoo Arcade. The next time you'll see me on Vocal Tales is Thursday for the final episode of Black Void. And for tonight, my vote goes to... Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez.
I'm going to go with Nomad for picking me up. When I
Dealing with
needed
your
a
bullshit.
Picking you up at the dump in a combat zone.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a big
Because
ass.
he's a real friend.
He is. He's there.
You want me to do what? Where?
I'm near the combat zone at a dump. Come get me. Don't ask questions.
Excellent. Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle C. Light. C stands for Crystal. You can find me on Twitter at Michelle C. Light, Instagram, Michelle C. Light, Twitch, Michelle C. Light, website, Michelle C. Light. And I have to say that my points have to go to Vector for she would have just given it to you if you asked. Because it's like true. Just
Yes.
so true. And This is my only show for the rest of 2020. 2021, I'll be in season 2 of Changeling the Dreaming 20th anniversary show, Deep Magic on Tuesdays.
Nice.
2021 is also a Vampire the Masquerade V5 Let the Streets Run Red Chicago by Night Chronicle as a part of Vancouver by Night, and some other stuff that I don't have the rights to talk about yet, but 2021's gonna be fun.
Be a good year. All right. And last but not least, Tyler.
I am Eldritch Echoes Online. You can always find me here doing stuff with Vorpal Tales. And next time is tomorrow, running No Time for Reality. I'm splitting my vote because I also love the dynamic 10 to Cyanide, 10 to Candy, because that's really fun to watch.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, and I've been Eric at Maroon Recluse on Twitter. You can find me here again on Sunday for Tyler's Tales of Terror and Damnation. Check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/VorpalTales and keep up to date with what we're doing throughout the month by checking the updated calendar on VorpalTales.com. All right, and remember, everybody, God is in the TV. Good night, everybody.